We are live. Hello, everybody. Okay, there we go. It wasn't going because we weren't actually in there. Let me adjust that so I'm not blowing out y'all's freaking eardrums. Welcome, everybody, back to the channel. We greatly appreciate you being here. We got a special treat for y'all. Not only do we have the last semifinals match of the Overwatch Tranquility Community, Phantasmal versus Void, going down tonight here on the CaptJack channel, but we've got a lot of amazing observers and casters tonight. I'll be running production, so if it's scuffed, you could totally blame me, which is why we're already late. So I thought a lot of this stuff was already working. So joining me first in the production booth, we have got MI Blizzard doing the observation for our game today, as well as Navino joining us on the analyst position. Navino, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you, Jack?
I'm a little frustrated, but that's my own issue to deal with. So we'll get that figured out here eventually. But as soon as the teams are ready to go, we're gonna go ahead and head into our first map, which is Ilios. As you know, this is a first to 4 series, so first team that gets to 4 points is gonna take it away and move on to the finals, where they'll be facing off against a Firefight in the Indigo side of the bracket and be fighting for that spot in the grand finals as to who comes out between the Koala Kings and the Jetpack Cats in the Harmony tier. So like I said, as soon as they're ready and raring to go, it looks like they are. So we're gonna go ahead and swap to in-game. Here we go. We're heading into Ilios to go ahead and get things started right here, right now. All right.
I'm really just seeing what they run here with, like, Rush being so popular, but also Double Bubble being really good on Lighthouses, especially.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely something I'm really interested in seeing as well. There's the love that I've had for the current meta is unchanging, to be completely honest with you. The fact that there are so many different metas being used, even when you're talking about Overwatch League, you haven't really seen one meta kind of rule them all. You see it like all the way from tier 4 all the way up to the top, is that there are lots of different compositions and a lot more countering, and I feel that that's really how the game should be played. So Navino, what do you see coming out of the gates here to start us off?
I see a really, like, heavy dive, like, almost poke composition with the Brig Zen coming out from Void, where they're looking to just, like, engage with Discord and get kills quickly, while Phantasmal's playing more of a brawl with like a kind of a bulldozer with the Torb and the Doomfist.
All right, well, let's see what they've got tonight, folks. Already Kilroy coming out with this Torbjorn. Very interesting pick for here. Sweaty Asian already going to go ahead and take down that turret, so not going to have that damage raining down from above. As we go ahead and see them trying to move their way into the objective, Zatnu makes their way onto the high ground, but Void is like, nah, we're not there anymore. We just teleported ourselves right into the point, and the uppercut comes in, not able to find that finalization onto Sweaty Asian, and the boop comes in. Magic Otter, an absolute wrecking ball on the wrecking ball, comes in with a triple kill, but the picks are still coming in already. Magic Otter with the minefield, able to just litter the objective right now, trying to see if they can finish off Trolls, the only one left from the team. As the percentage continues to climb, they'll finish them off, but this fight's getting ready to start again.
A really interesting engage there where they left high ground and held point, where in theory benefits Brawl, but Otter just kind of clutched up really with the boops.
That's right. As you know, this whole season, Magic Otter has been just absolute chaos on this Wrecking Ball. Anytime they can run it, it's really their best option, because they are just an absolute nutter down here in the Harmony tier. So any team that's going up against them, you better have a way to be able to deal with it. And well, you do see Dogmeat on that Brig, Zatnu on that Doom. If they can create some space and be able to stun out the ball, that will be helpful. But so far, it's not working out for them, and it's already 60% gone.
I understand the point of running the Brig, but at the same time, you need the speed to close distance.
Yeah, definitely need that Lucio to try to help things out. Meteor Strike coming in from Xanu, gets the uppercut on Gatsby in the sky, able to get the finalization as well, but a single pick will not do them, but will Sweaty Asian also help out with that? Now the rally following up with Dog Meat, trying to provide some extra healing and armor for them to get this objective in their favor as we head up into the 90% mark. It looks like we will see Void cleared here in a matter of moments. Magic Otter continuing to touch the objective, triggering the overtime, gets taken down by the slam, and that's going to be a swap on over for Phantasmal.
I really don't like the Brig coming out from Phantasmal because you're trying to almost outpoke a poke comp with Doomfist Torb. I get they're pretty much playing anti-ball with the Torb and the Brig, but like you need the Lucio to like punish the Zen and the Brig for Void.
That's absolutely true, and unfortunately the Zen Brig is more of a damage dealing than a damage absorption comp, but it might not matter. Xanu with that early pick on the Sweaty Asian helps out. Gatsby does find them eventually with the beam, and Magic Otter with the minefield again, and the double kill will allow Void to re-lock down this objective. Overtime ticks away, but I think it's all said and done. I don't think anybody's going to be able to touch in time. That's 100-41 as we go ahead and see Void take the lead here on the Lighthouse.
And that last fight is like exactly what I'm talking about in terms they have no way to like rush on to anyone, which is like exactly what the Reinzar wants to do. Like they're just like sitting on point, taking poke from different angles, not really be able to heal it up all the way because your comp can't be stationary. And with your comp, when it tries to be stationary, you just take so much poke, and then you can't out-sustain what they're doing. Even though they killed the Zen, they were still like at a disadvantage because they couldn't engage onto anyone. They had short-range damage outside the Torb.
That's absolutely true right there. Let's go ahead and see if they can turn this around as we head into the well. It looks like Magic Otter is going to opt for the Reinhardt this time around. So the goal is try to battle off the objective rather than on. If they can go ahead and make that work for them, they can capture the objective and just keep poking and keeping the fight going. We see a Woody's moving over to the McCree as well. Going to give some of that poke damage. The hack comes in. Kilroy falling incredibly low, but as is Magic Otter, and there they go! As the immortality goes down, so does Magic Otter. A Woody's on that flank, trying to see if they can get some pokes in behind that shield. Finds Xanu with the head click, but gonna go ahead and get chased down. Dire Raven next to fall after the DMAC, and it looks like Phantasmal will take control of this objective.
Yeah, I really can't talk a lot about what happened because I currently can't see the game.
Oh no! That is unfortunate. Are you just getting some lag spikes on your end? Oh yeah, I'm getting some lag spikes now too. Oh boy, this is gonna be a good one, folks. I hope you're ready for really scuffed production here on the CaptJack channel, because that's probably what you're gonna get. Ant Matrix already coming out here as the High Noon tries to counter to provide some space, but with the shield going down for Magic Otter, Fat Shatter coming in, and Magic Otter finds Yeet, but the damage may already be done. Trolls and Dogmeat end up getting some follow-up picks, and that is going to be another clear of this objective. Control briefly swapped over to Void, but we're going to see Phantasmal take that right on back.
I really like the Sombra Creek coming out, forcing Magic Otter and them to like match with the brawl. And so the Sombra, you still have, you're playing like a lot slower of a rush. You just have to wait for your Sombra to set up, but it really limits what they can do if they don't have the pacing to because you want to play fast into a Sombra, so if they don't do that, the Sombra gets massive value.
That's absolutely true, and if they can make this EMP pay off, it'll be another big hold. 5-man EMP coming in as they try to clean it up, but Gatsby ended up finding Dogmeat first. It might not be enough. Xanu does find Magic Otter with the Deadeye and clicks a Woody's head, but Dire Raven sends in the bomb. The self-destruct, able to get some value there, and the immortality ends up going down to Trolls' bomb remech right there. Didn't want to get staggered out despite the update that gives her 250 for that remech damage. We will see Void take control of the objective as they prepare for the next fight. Navino, you there, buddy?
It is, I still can't see. So
oh no, that's unfortunate right there. I don't know, Mana Class, can you fill in if you can see what's going on from your end?
I'm having perfect vision here, Jack.
Oh, right.
It's happening for me.
Oh, goodness.
I was not entirely paying attention, but we'll see where we get with this one.
All right. Well, Gatsby swapping over to that Rhine duplicate gets deleted as the Deadeye comes out, does find dog meat in the end. Shatter coming in return. The fight's not over. Yeet, indeed, trying to get that Yeet. Does find the double kill with the help of Zatanu. Will that be enough for Phantasmal to be able to push back in? We don't know just yet. The Deadeye comes out, finds Gatsby, and with that triple, that might be enough to create some space. As they head up to the 80% mark, they will retake control from Void.
I'm really liking the way they play around this McCree much more than they were playing around the Doomfist. As Zatanu is a great Doomfist, don't get me wrong, the mechanics look really cool, but you can kind of see that the rest of the team is trying to figure out how they can make that hard carry work, because that's kind of what you have to do. You have to enable that Doomfist, and now that they can kind of play as a unit, focus the same targets, and move as a team, it's working way better for them.
All right, self-destruct going into the back line. No! Finds Gatsby and Sweaty Asian, and we will see the EMP coming out from Kilroy to clean up the rest of them. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Do not touch this objective. 100 to 81 as Phantasmal goes ahead and takes control of the well, tying it up 1-1.
You love to see it, 1-1. You always say we have a map on our hands. Series is still the question, but I'm sure these teams are going to bring us a great one. And, well, between these maps, they are actually swapping up things. They're swapping up styles even. Went from the all-out Zarya ball composition all the way now to, well, Reinhardt Diva. Kind of copying their well composition. And on the other side, Zatinu is switching again, going for the Widow this time around. That's a... it's a gutsy move, Jack. Widow has not been that popular of late for several reasons.
That is absolutely true there, Mana Class. Let's go ahead and see if they can lock it down regardless. I mean, and they obviously they made it into the semifinals, so they must have an idea of what they're doing. And remember, this is just Harmony tier. So we're dealing with gold to platinum, so might get a little bit more value than we'd normally see in the OD and contenders level of play that some of us may be used to. Let's go ahead and see if they can lock this down. The rotation coming out as Void essentially forces Phantasmal to switch sides right here. We see the hack coming in on the Magic Otter, though. That might create some space, and Yeet ends up finding Bagel Friend amidst the chaos. Control is already in favor of Void as the immortality goes down for either side, and Trolls ends up getting demeched, but finds Gatsby with the Glock there at the end. Kilroy just in the back, that machine pistol just tearing away at the team as Zatanu would click, boom in heads. But with Oray 24% on the board, that's going to be a lot of space for Void to push back in.
And now it's the perfect opportunity to have that Widowmaker when you have to walk into her. There's nothing really that can counter Zatinu right now. Maybe Dire Raven can try and shoot up there. Maybe Awoody's and Sweaty Asian can do some shots, but it's really all Widowmaker's playground, as we are so loving this map for. And they're getting closer to infra sight, some other ultimates. Good spot here for the defense.
All right, heading back into the action. The Deadeye comes out, ends up finding Zatanu. Oh! And almost able to click the head of Kilroy, but ends up getting away at the last moment. Billroy, though, does end up going down to the Peacekeeper, and that's going to be a continued cleanup from Void, swapping it back over into their control before the fight was even over.
Sometimes fight is over before it even starts, and Woody's coming in there with a Deadeye. The rotation they did to come through that bridgeway on the side exactly what they needed to do, avoid the Widowmaker sightlines, but now they cannot really hold that aggressive posture. Often you'll see teams go further forward, especially with brawl comps. They just cannot do that. They don't dare to go that close against the Widowmaker.
That's true. You got to continue to put some space in between and try to get those picks early and often. Dire Raven sending the bomb back, takes the Immortality field out, and does some damage, but will it be enough for them to hold on? Magic Otter is going really, really low, but Gatsby finds Yeet from behind. Kilroy getting the behind shot on Magic Otter as well. With both those tanks down, it's down to the Divas, and unfortunately Dire Raven just does not have the support in their corner for this fight. 85% as control swaps back over to Phantasmal.
And especially the old discipline from both these teams has been so good. I've rarely seen a moment where they're over-investing. They're always banking up for the long haul. Both teams right now, they're so good at just keeping the trades going. It's never that old fest that you just see a team go, no, we're just going to throw everything at this.
Nah, we haven't gotten to map 5 yet. We'll probably start seeing it when desperation starts knocking at the door. But here it comes, 6-man EMP, locking it down with a big old shatter coming in as well from Yeet. But the shatter is returned by Magic Otter as the Immortality holds it all together. The Blossom finds 2 in the corner as the bomb comes out, but Gatsby finds Trolls before the remake. 90% and climbing as we head into Final Fight territory. If Phantasmal can't take this back.
I think Kilroy may be able to touch. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
It was a close one, though. It almost got spotted out.
Oh, no!
We'll go down.
Not a good way to start this off. The Deadeye does find Trolls as well. Ball shield not going to help you on this objective, and the self-destruct finds Dogmeat in the sky. 100-63. Void takes the lead and takes Ilios in a crazy fashion, folks. This is just map 1 of a possible 7+ map series we may be seeing tonight. So be sure to be in those seats. And look at this. Magic Otter, like we were saying earlier, the ball, absolute nut house right here. Just rolling backwards and forwards and this way and that way, just cleaning it all up here on the objective.
I hope we'll see more of that Wrecking Ball play. Their Reinhardt's good, don't get me wrong, but some good Wrecking Ball play, especially those environmental kills, the way they played around that Wrecking Ball in general. It's very nice to see. I mean, I have not followed most of the Tranquility League, unfortunately, but if you say that Magic Otter's been doing that all season, I'm sure we're going to see more of it tonight. It's an exciting one, and like you said, only map 1 if potentially 7 or even more if they get some draws here and there. It's a party, and we're here for it.
That's absolutely true. So I'm going to be switching things up on my end as Navino goes ahead and joins us once again. Hopefully you were able to get that fixed. I think you were going in game to see this from now on. So while they're getting ready to set up, I'm going to be updating scoreboard, swapping some cameras around. So why don't you two gentlemen go ahead and talk about what we're seeing thus far and what you might expect from these teams going into, I believe, our assault map is up next.
That should be the case, because map 2 is indeed assault. It looks like they might want to go for Hanamura, draw Namura, the Japanese peace map, as we call it, because no one ever wants to win it. It's beautiful. I love to see it. Navino, what's your thoughts? Are we going to see some Symmetra?
I feel like Symmetra's just like normally run on this because it's like it gives the courtyard for first point just so dangerous for any attacking team, and Sim is just like that easy way to get across the courtyard and into the point, right? That being said, I don't know what's gonna happen because both teams, when you usually see Lucio, have been running Brig like non-stop, and I personally really hate to see that. Like when you run Rush, because without Lucio, it's not really Rush. It's kind of just like a Rhine getting bullied, and then. But we'll see some probably really DPS-oriented comps. I think Assault actually really benefits Void's like reliance on like the Brig Zen and like just the ball in general, because you're playing in these wide open spaces. One of the comps that I think they would actually probably benefit greatly from is the Chengdu like Soul like comp that is run sometimes by those teams where it's Ball Diva, Sombra Pharah with like Ana Mercy, because that really just enables your Pharah player and your ball player. Oh, as we say that, Magic Otter subbed out.
Ooh.
Oh no.
Never mind.
No ball specialist?
No ball.
Oh.
I'm assuming
Could
they're
still go
gonna
for a
play...
Winston maybe.
No, they're playing. I think they're playing Ryan with this guy.
Okay, okay. Well, you know them a little bit better than I do. That's on me. But you know what? You know what I would really like to see? I would like to see some more May. I know it's a very controversial thing, but I like seeing May. And like that's the whole thing why Symmetra became a thing in the first place. Not necessarily because it was hard to get to points. Mostly was because if you went through choke and there was just a May wall, you just got split off. And with the Symmetra wall, Symmetra teleporter cannot happen because they cannot really do that for you. And May has been pretty popular lately in this meta. Of course, haven't really seen much of it today. Not actually sure why. It might have been the map that we had so far. So we could see more of that. But Hanamura is a diverse one. You could even see some Bastion on defense. Who knows?
I do think that like at lower SR tiers of play, like May is actually a hard character to feel like you're doing something, if that makes sense. Like you're obviously getting value, but like it's just something like many people want to feel like they're doing something, which is why you see a lot of Kree Reapers, which is why you see like a Hanzo Kree. You see these like DPS players in this elo want to feel like they're making an impact, and sometimes as May, it's hard to feel that way unless you're hitting wall after wall after wall.
I mean, I don't know about you, but those icicles to a Tracer's head that really do it for you. Those are really the ones that just bring it all the way home. That being said, the dragons have come home. Well, actually, they've been banished from their homes. Unfortunately, they're not there. The Dragon of the North and the Dragon of the South win the most watched Overwatch channel video, if anyone was wondering. I think it was like 35 million views at this stage. Still there. It's still there. It's a beautiful map. And we're going to go all the way into lore. And we actually are going to get one of the Shimada brothers on the defense. Kilroy coming out on that one. But what do you think? Because I like it. And I like it for a few good reasons. But it does a very similar job to what the May does. Other than the Graf Dragon that's now an option.
If I were them, like, I see what they're doing. They're going to have Kilroy playing an off angle, right? To spam in while they use the Brig Bap and Kree Core with the Rhine to, like, hold a corner. Oh, never mind. I'm wrong. Are they holding point, I guess? Oh, they're getting ready for the Sim. Okay. But they want to play off angles, which is good here and allows their DPS to really set the tone.
Just expected the teleporter. I like to see this. Teams are just like, you know what? We don't even gonna bother holding choke. Teleporter gets destroyed before it even does anything, but then they still get to walk through choke quickly, so it kind of worked. Immortality Field very early out. A lot of damage taken for Shadow Shane. Magic Otter now on the Zarya. I'll try to keep them up with the bubble while he's being healed, but it's a really tough one because the damage is flying left, right, and center. And Woody's already down for this one. The wall does come out. It's a good split with the Immortality Field as well as the rest of the damage that was left. It was just a bit late. That wall play was beautiful, but it should have been there sooner, I guess.
I think they're playing almost too slow. Like they want to just like walk in because they got all that extra space for free, right? And if they get all that extra space for free, they need to take it quickly and then use that as an opportunity to engage. If they like wall off one of the DPS, they then get like more space and picks for free.
For sure, they're gonna take this. This top rotation. I like it. I mean, if you're not gonna use the teleporter in the first place because you've got a Woody's on the McCree now, but the enemy team is holding on points because they're scared of you TPing, might as well make use of that. Take that high ground for yourself and take a much cleaner approach. And that's even an elimination on Kilroy there. That's a great pick. Going in there now. Shatter is out. It's beautiful. The windows are out as well. Immortality Field tries to save Showdown Shane, but both Reinhardt's out of it. That's just Zatinu completely capitalizing on that Graviton. Might not even have been necessary. They burn a lot of ultimates, but they do hold off, and it's already 2 minutes down. So you know how that goes. The longer you stall on A, the less time you have to worry about on B, if they even cap it.
Yeah, I really do like the more so aggression. I like the high ground rotation, but to me, they have to you can almost split this point in half with a May wall. Oh, I would be rushing the Rhine right now because they should know they killed him.
Look, there's just a revenge right there. Kilroy, you know what? You did it last fight to me. I'm doing it this fight to you. Now you guys have to wait for your McCree, and they've got the Dragon ready. If you're going to go through this top now, the Dragon is well placed. They could just either split up the attack or just get some eliminations for free, and that just drains more time on the clock. Then they'll be down to a minute at most. They're gonna have a solo McCree coming back from spawn, and now the dragon is there. The wall splits, but not enough. Oh, a lot of damage being done. The graph comes out, but there's no follow-up because that dragon just denied them all the entry. Gatsby trying to freeze something, gets yeet forward. The High Noon comes out, but doesn't really find anything because there's too many in the way. But because of the zoning, they get a tick, and the wall's there. They're gonna get a second one, and they get a third, probably because they're just freezing them off the point with this blizzard. Beautifully done by Gatsby, kind of the solo carry of that entire fight. They get that one consolation kill onto Woody's. Maybe Magic Otter falls, but they should very well just be cleaning up this point right now.
The wall, like, seals up the point for... I don't know why he's nooning here, bro. But the seals off the point, and they use the grab to get him off, and then they just never let up that choke, which is what May is so good for, is holding those chokes. And that's where, like, the Hanzo and Kree from Phantasmal is really going to lack. It's like choke control. In wide open spaces, they do really well, but in that tight, controlled area, they're going to struggle against the May.
Zoning off the point, what they did with the Graviton, and then the wall and the blizzard, it was just such a smart tactic. They took all the space they wanted. Then they're gonna come in this top. They don't really have a lot to work with to attack this straight away, but that sound barrier should leave them with a lot of sustain.
Oh, and they killed the Kree.
Beautiful
right
shot. Yeah, those are the headshots, you know. You talk about it not doing a lot of as DPS on May, but there it is right there. Woody's coming in with the flashbang. The counter charge even came out. Right clicks galore. I like the McRight click. It's a great thing in this current meta, and the window for the defense doesn't really do that much. They're gonna make it to the objective, trying to get that first tick, and that's at least gonna tick over. Ooh, I'm Billroy in a bit of a precarious spot there, and it will just be Kilroy coming out of spawn. The wall blocks it. I cannot even touch it. No one was there or wanted to be there, it seems. 2 minutes 36. It's a good attack. They got stalled on A for a bit, but at least B was no problem.
I really liked how they played that and with going left and using the window to, like, just make them so they couldn't, like, go anywhere. And I actually would have, as soon as I got that pick, I would have gone point and forced them to drop. But because they didn't have the crease, so there's no one left to even High Noon up top, right? But instead, they go up top and Showdown Shane, or I'm just going to call him Shane at this point. Shane hits a huge shatter, and they capitalize off it. Even though the Kilroy tries to use the dragons to bring the fight back, just the pure brawl potential of the May Kree was able to just kind of steamroll over them, even though the Phantasmal had ultimates to bring it back.
Well, and you talked about, like, I don't know why Zatino was using that High Noon here when they were still on A and that fight had just been completely been lost. Imagine if you have a High Noon there. Imagine if Zatino doesn't go down, has that High Noon to play with from the high ground. They have the dragons. Then all of that is set up for that high ground defense beautifully. They just couldn't get away with it because of that first pick, because the High Noon was already used, because of so many reasons. The shatter was good. The walls are good. It's just working. And if the walls are good on attack, imagine what Gatsby's going to do in the defense now. I'm scared if you're...
Very true. I mean, in a perfect world, they can just noon the window, get shield on the window, and then just roll them because they have noon and dragons to stop them from using the window.
Yeah. Well, they're going to have to use a window to get through the wall. Shadow Shane on the defense. They are holding close. No Symmetra coming out from the attack this time around. Just a few fire strikes, a little bit of poke. It's how this goes, you know. You don't want to just jump in and have fun with this one. Shadow Shane, ooh, good flashbang. Can just get away with it. And they corral them in this corner. And the Immortality Field out early.
I really like the aggression. They should have been able to kill the Kree, but, like, they did a beautiful immortality about Billroy, but now they don't have that resource going to point. I don't really know what the Torb accomplishes here, though, in my opinion.
It's fun. I don't know.
I guess. Yeah,
it's yeah, no. I mean, the thing is, you can put a turret somewhere, and if your entire team attacks from a different angle, it still works. But he's not really finding a different angle. At least it's free high ground for the turret. They got a good angle on it. And they are trying to get into this objective. The turret has to be focused. It has to be done. It's still an extra member on the team, it seems. Gatsby trying to do something here. Has the wall ready. He's waiting for someone to walk in. There's the Reinhardt. Are they getting the wall off? No, the flashbang is good, and the wall fails as a result. The timing just a little bit missed on that one. The shatter comes out from Showdown Shane. Didn't quite get a lot out of that, but they do find the D-Mech and Kilroy. There are the kills streaming in. They need to find a little bit more, though. This could still be pulled back, and there are the environmentals. Wow.
But Void does lose Otter. So in theory, they could take a fight before Magic Otter gets back, and like with their own speed boost and their closer spawns. I think Otter and Lucio's leaving the taxi, so they could very well take a 4v6 right now on point and just take it.
I mean, they have their own Lucio. They know they have the speed, and there they go. They're already on the objective. The High Noon has a defensive effort, and Woody's needs to get something here, but it's not even zoning them. They don't care. They just walk forward with Matrix and a shield and say, you know what? You're going to have to fight us. That High Noon won't save you now. It looks like the regroup has indeed functioned. They have not managed to cut off that Zarya Lucio regroup, but the shatter is huge. Beautifully done. That's Trolls getting a double kill as a result. Blizzard and Molten Core are on the point, but no one's in it. Only Zatino going down. Nice environmental on the Dogmeat, but unfortunately that might not be enough. There's plenty of members left of the attacking team and not enough for the defense. It's just the Lucio trying to boop bop his way around. And there you go. That's going to be point 8 taken.
Yeah, I mean, really good idea by Woody's using the Noon to try and buy time for Otter and the Lucio and Bagel to get back. But they were able to just use their stack ultimates to use Molten Core to section off so many parts of the point, and then they hit a big shatter, right? And they forget a cap. They used all those things to take space.
But it was a defensive Blizzard and Molten Core. That was the surprising part, but they used it on a point where there was no one. Like, I think maybe... Bilroy got frozen, but that was literally it. Everyone else was fine.
Well, their Creed died to it too.
Yeah, okay. Maybe one went down, but like, it wasn't enough. They used like a huge amount of ultimates that just don't find anything, and now they're not going to have that much for this one, although Woody's has their High Noon back. Gonna go straight into this one. The graph is good, but the immortality field is better. They actually keep everybody alive. And now they're going to be able to walk into this. Dogmeat does go down again in a little bit of an unnecessary fashion, maybe, but the turret on the off angle, it's back. Nope, it's not. It's already out. They're going to go for a little bit of a regroup because they don't want to go in without that Lucio.
I really would prefer them to play the Hanzo here like they've been doing. Because Hanzo, like putting a dragon up those stairs is really potent, and the damage that he can put in from the far left is also really potent. They have they don't have no way to peel for a Hanzo long range because Otter's in the Zarya. But with you can say the turret, the off angle can accomplish a lot of the same things, and Molten Core is also very valuable.
Could very well be, especially in a space like this when they're also clumped up, that Molten Core can just block their exit on the stairs behind them, can do so much more, but for now, they're just going to block this hallway with pure power of that window. That Amplification Matrix doing its job. They're going to go for the aggressive out, though. They need to be careful not to lose any members here, because that could be problematic, and they are taking this fight very evenly. The shatter is beautiful, and they have overstayed their welcome. It's a triple kill High Noon. That's the follow-up, and that is maybe even going to be point B, because they just went too far. They didn't get those eliminations like they thought they were going to. The immortality field especially was beautiful. Wow.
They should get back here, though, because they all died so far at a point.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only advantage. They at least get the free tick out of there. Graviton is out. They will get the follow-up, but at what cost? I mean, you do give away a tick. At least they got the time bank going for them, but yeah, this cleanup is not happening for the attackers. Fortunately, 43.7 is where it's gonna stop, but still, you give up a tick. It may be in a little bit of an unnecessary fashion.
I understand what they're trying to do by pushing out there and taking the fight.
Sure.
But their post fire just wasn't there. They weren't finishing targets. Like that Ryan should have died before he even had Shatter up. Because he was in a corner by himself. And they had Inborn.
Immortality Fields.
Yeah.
And a Baptiste.
I still think he should have died.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. They did split up. We're going to have this high ground position hold, almost another High Noon for Woody's, at least as a window to work with to build it up, and that's already going to get one. Kilroy goes down before even half the Molten Core can comes out. He said Molten, and that was it. Woody's just has a free shooting gallery here. They feel like they need to just rush the point, but they're not capitalizing on anything, not taking space. They get that second tick for free. That's where it stops for now. To be fair, if they get another one like that, they just have the point, but, you know, they don't have that much time.
Yeah, as we get to under a minute, it really worries me because Gatsby still has this Blizzard. Gatsby can just literally zone almost the entire point, but Kilroy goes to the Hanzo that I've been talking about to like poke from long range and try and buy them time, as they're just going to go down main now if they realize they have to force the fight on point.
They could do the bridge drop. Oh, no, the wall comes out, but doesn't really split everybody off there, at least making it to the objective, and this time they have to drop on the defense. The high noon comes out from Zatino, doesn't get much, neither does the self-destruct. The shatter as they drop down, it's good, but the high noon might be better for the zoning. Doesn't get anything, unfortunately, for Woodies, and now it's an even fight on points, with the sound barrier advantage coming out for the attack. Woodies falls, Kilroy and Zatino both getting their counterparts, and now it's actually a really good spot for to come out. Only a few more percent, and they will have this. Will the time get in overtime? No, they make it. They get a minute on the clock for another attack, and this map isn't over yet. And overtime rounds, we all know it. Anything can happen there.
I've been commenting, his Gatsby's walls have been so great and everything, but he just held on to that Blizzard for too long. He still had it there, you know. The joke is, you know, sometimes they're holding it for Overwatch too, you know. But and I get why they don't want it to get eaten. They want to play safe. They want to get value out of their ultimate, right? But if they can just like section off the point there, like how the fight they took where the molten core was wasted because they kill him in Kilroy switches, where they're just stuck behind a little pillar because of the window and high ground. Blizzard can accomplish that very same thing by just sectioning off the point so they are stuck in one area. Because all you need to do is waste time there. Because your goal, to me, should be at that point to just get to overtime. You just want to.
I will say, I think Trolls was playing threateningly enough that you definitely are looking to worried to throw that Blizzard out, especially at a longer range. If you're in their face, and if you know exactly when that Matrix is being used and where it's being used, where it's pointing at, yeah, I throw that Blizzard out any day. But if you're on that high ground where Gatsby was kind of the entire time, then you don't want to throw that Blizzard because it will get eaten every single time.
Yeah.
And that mech focus just kind of wasn't there.
Yeah, I definitely think that Mage wants to play more on the point because you're more the brawler, while the Kree stays high ground and do that damage. And I think that's where they messed up. Like, I feel like Gas was just using Icicle almost too much.
It's good ability, you know, 150 damage at long range without any repercussions if you headshot it. It's the Ice Sniper, no damage fall off. Now we're switching over to this Junker on defense. You know you love it. Chaotic. If they have to get through, they're gonna take a lot of punishment, a lot of damage, and it is already happening. Gatsby up to 20%. Someone got into the trap. I think it was the Reinhardt, but they're all still fine. Zatino are going off to the side. They're gonna hit them with the nade. No, not quite. Gatsby now maybe a little bit of trouble, but can still chunk these nades in here. It's a lot of damage, and there goes Zatino. That's 1 down, 5 to go.
And this is where the Brig is really gonna hurt them, because the Brig is meant to stabilize in fights, while they have no way to like get past this Junkrat spam, because the Junkrat, like, just there's conch mines, right, and it can just displace everyone. Once they're displaced, it's so easy for them to just move in and kill them.
We're looking forward here to see if they can actually touch the objective. It does look like Kilroy made it around the side, and now they're coming in with the Lucio, the Doomfist. They're doing the full shebang. 2 DPS already down, and more to follow soon. The Immortality Field might save your Reinhardt for a little, but not for long. Yeet does get a good charge off, but I think Showdown Shane is going to be completely ready for this one. The Showdown's been won from this Reinhardt. Another Graviton just as a celebratory win, and this point will be full health.
Wow. I mean, they have their win con now. And they really just need to, like, they have enough time, they can just stack 6 ultimates and win.
They can, yeah. It can also be a problem, right? Because what if a few of those ultimates don't work out? We've seen them, I would say, waste but misuse ultimates before in this map. Talked about Gatsby, Woody's a little bit. Could happen again, and then they might be in trouble. Plus, their A attack actually took quite a while. I mean, it did for both teams, but 323 is definitely not a luxury time bank for them. It's a good time bank, but not one that
definitely took longer on A, it felt like, than they did on B. And so I think that I actually really like this Pharah pick if it's for real, and the Ball Zarya is probably a good pick. So like they're going to what I thought they would go to originally, right? Like they're deciding to just go in with like these comfort picks. Because in reality, like, even more so now, Phantasmal can't afford to trade. Phantasmal needs to win fights cleanly to keep this going. They need to win at least 3, or probably more like 4, probably. 3 to 4 fights to get the draw. So to get the draw, they can't trade.
No, they definitely cannot. But Zatino on the Ashe. A little bit more long-range immediate damage, so the burst is a bit higher than for McCree. But it's not that good if you're on a close-range brawl fight, which, you know, hopefully they won't be against this. They will be a little bit better to stave them off this way. We have Showdown Shane being on this Sigma, though. I like this pick, but we'll see how it actually works out in practice. As Magic Otter is doing the classic boop and roll around, but takes so much damage. Ooh, might actually burn out. No, barely makes it, but still not a lot of health and has to run away to find some more health packs. The Gafara picks is paying off, though. Gatsby already gets one, is now looking for the Ash. Doesn't want to get shot down by the Western Cowgirl. Doesn't actually make it out there. Gatsby still looking for that Ash, but unfortunately, Santino has a good positioning going on right now. It's still getting a lot of damage out, though, close to that first barrage, but at 20 HP, losing the Mercy, that's still a good hold. This defense is very chaotic, and the attack is very chaotic, but eventually, that spawn advantage is paying off. They're going to get that first tick, and without too much trouble, they're going to win Hanamura.
I think I get why they went to the Ash for the long range poke and try and poke him in a transition, but as soon as they hold cart, like as soon as they see the ball roll away so low and they don't chase, because like if I was D.Va, I'd chase after that personally. I try and kill that ball, but they can just use the speed because they still ran the Lucio, right? They can use the speed and just push on to the Sigma, kill the Sigma, and then they stabilize. The reason they lost is because they allowed the Pharah to just stay at that choke and poke them for days without doing anything to really contest her outside of like your Ash, right? Who like once the Pharah gets in your face is really hard to kill as an Ash because like you're kind of getting dive bombed, you know?
It really is, yeah. I will say they did reposition correctly around it. It was definitely something that happened where they didn't have to worry too much about the Pharah, but eventually you did get enough done if you're Gatsby right there. So I'm not too worried about that Pharah pick. Whether it will come back in other maps, that remains to be seen, because of course we've only had 2 and we still have at least 2 more to go, maybe more. It's a first of 4 after all. But we'll see if the we'll see if that continues. Right now, Void up 2-0 in the series. They're doing a great job of it, but it is close. Like Phantasmal is very close to taking maps, and this might not be as well done of a deal as it might seem right now.
Yeah, I think there's very much still in this game, right? It's just more so they have to clean up and identify their win cons. Because I think I feel like they're playing Rush to play Rush. They're not like actually identifying like why they're playing Rush, and they're trying to almost out poke the actual poke comps that Void is coming out with. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you see them on the Reinzar with the Brig, right? And I know I've harped on that a lot, right? But they just kind of stand there and wait for their DPS to kill something before going in, right? If you think about it, a lot of the fights they won were based off Void overextending and not having the focus fire to like finish the fights, and then Trolls, or Yeet, or whichever one was the main tank. Apologies if I got that wrong, but
Yeet this time around.
Yeah,
the shatter off. Yeah,
Yeet hits a ginormous shatter, and just wins the point almost by himself because he hits that ginormous shatter because they overextended. But before that, he was just getting pushed on, not taking really initiative. He's not taking aggressive space. And in Rush, you want to take that aggressive space with the Maywalls, or even just with damage. If you have a Kree Hanzo, you can take it by just with the pure spam damage, because if you bully the Rhine shield, right, you can just take that space. But they're not really doing that. I guess I know that was long-winded, but that is why I think they're playing Rush for Rush's sakes and not
totally get it.
All right, gentlemen, that was absolutely fantastic, but we're going to go ahead and take over from here. We're going to be bringing in another absolute joy, and Josh, I love you. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and bring on here one of the absolute loves of my casting life, Mr. Chef Billy. Welcome, Billy. Glad to have you here. How you doing?
What up, what up, what up? Happy to be here.
Well,
Prom night.
Yeah, prom night. I was hearing. Well, you know what? We got sort of a prom going on here. Semifinals of our Harmony tier at Overwatch Tranquility. Kind of an unofficial stream going on right here because we want to try to bring you the action, and the team's agreed. So far, Void is up 2-0. Not for certain how much you've seen thus far, but based on what we've seen, these matches have been relatively close.
Yeah, I heard Gapsy was popping off. from what I can ascertain, just listening. Nice job casting, by the way. Man, classy and Navino. Kings, let's go. But I mean, it all depends on what we're getting into here. The rush comp can work. The ice, I mean, Ice Queen, bane of my entire existence. Got to tell you, I do not like Maze being a main tank player. So I heard that there's some issues maybe with a blizzard being thrown into a matrix. So I will find out exactly where we stand once we get into Kings Row. That'll be our next map.
That is going to be our next map. As I've been telling everyone, I am running production tonight, so if everything's scuffed, you can go ahead and blame me. That's quite all right. We'll go ahead and we'll get that figured out on the fly as things are going. We had some swap ups at the last minute, and we had to adapt and overcome, right? So that's what we're going to be doing. So yeah, like you said, Kings Row, definitely a great place for Phantasmal to be heading, because it kind of evens the battlefield, right? Like if they're wanting to play this rush into rush, if they're really wanting to bring on this this May to be able to kind of zone out heroes, they can really do it here on Kings Row. But you also have that coming out for the side of Void as well, more than likely. So the question is, can Phantasmal this time around be able to show up Void? That's going to be the real question here.
I mean, rush into rush, I've always maintained that, if you're going to go the Diva route, you have to have ultimate control over the high ground, being able to flip back and forth and be able to use that matrix to mitigate all that damage coming in. And if you're going to run the Zarya, then that opens up a whole new entire avenue of heroes that you can actually play in there. I love the Zarya being played with a Doomfist, but it doesn't look like we're going to get that. It looks like we're going to get a little bit of the Torbjorn.
Oh no, they are not
going into this. They most certainly are. So I mean. Obviously, you're going to be looking for flankers with it. I mean, that'll give you a little bit of an early warning system. I think that is what it's looking at.
Ooh.
Maybe.
Donna. The sharks in the water. Whose cable got eaten for the internet gods here? That's going to be the one to really figure out. So as we're waiting for to figure out, it doesn't look like anybody is disconnected just yet, so we're gonna keep holding on there, folks. So thanks for hanging with us. But Billy, basically, like you were saying, having that Torbjorn very early on, even though they don't have a lot of chaotic characters like your Sombra or your Diva that's really going to be flanking like crazy, it is going to be good. Oh wow, swapped it. They immediately went back into boss. Goodness gracious. Oh, so nobody has technically DC'd yet, or if they have, it's going to be from I'm guessing their subs for either side sitting in right now. Oh, it looks like we do have one. It looks like trolls. No, trolls! Not the trolls. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. What's going on? Pause that sucker. There we go. All right. Goodness gracious. All sorts of things are scuffed tonight, folks. So don't you worry. Don't you worry. We'll figure it out here in the end. But yeah, like you were saying, having that early detection system is going to be great. Plus, you got that 7th gun on the field, right? I mean, it doesn't miss. It aims at pretty much anything that isn't on your team. I mean, what's not to love about a good old Torb turret? And then once you get that ultimate up, it's just a molten city all over the objective, which is definitely something you want on a point like Objective Alpha Kings Row.
Yep. I mean, the early warning system, I called it here first. I'm going to absolutely patent that in my cast going on forward. But I mean, if you look at it right now, they've already taken it out. So I mean, that's on cooldown now. Now you're waiting for that ability to come back up, and I mean, what real value are you going to get from it? That is what I'm kind of wondering myself, is what do you do with the turret? I mean, other than the early detection, they're not running anything that really is going to necessitate having that turret out there. So yeah, looks like I got a little map reset here. Make sure everybody's in here good and happy, and
make sure no time's wasted. Absolutely. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So we'll go ahead and head on back in game as we're waiting for the folks to get set up once again. They do kind of, I don't know if they had enough time to get an idea of what they're going to be seeing here. So that is definitely going to be an interesting take on all of this. But at the end of the day, it's really going to be figuring out what they can work around, you know, and that's the biggest aspect of this game is finding the workarounds, those counters to the counters.
I mean, if Kilroy's going to go high ground with the turret, he's going to have to place it a lot better than what he just did because it was deleted by Sweaty Asian on the Baptiste. But, I mean, the one combo that I'm looking for is grab Molten Core. I mean, that could be absolutely filthy lethal. Loving that camera angle, by the way, over the shoulder. Are you kidding me? I love that. But, I mean, you know, the grab Molten Core is really the only combo that I see really synergizing with the Torbjorn. And if Dire Raven swings the DM around, even in the middle of a grab, that completely negates the value that you get out of it.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and see what they can make happen as we go ahead and see the attack coming on in from Void. This is really going to be the big question here as to whether or not they're going to be able to make this work in their favor. And right now we see them kind of rotating to the high ground, kind of poking it out, you know. Are we pulling a freaking Overwatch League, that long rotation all the way around the outside? I think that's what we're seeing right here. Oh my, what is this? Is this inaugural season Overwatch League here, folks? What is going on? The rotation goes all the way out to the outside. Now the question is, can Void make it pay off?
I mean, it looks like they are, especially since you have that Maywall out there. Nice trapping from the side there, and they didn't get the value that I think they really wanted out of it. They didn't have that wall placed just right.
Ooh, but they have the Amp Matrix already online. That's a great way to go ahead and start things off. Immortality's down for either side, and the shatter, it is fat, but the cleanup, it has to be there too, and the Maywall didn't go down in time to help Yeet out, and they will end up paying for it with their life, despite the DMAC coming in onto Dire Raven. Now with the tank line out for Phantasmal, it's going to be very difficult for them to continue to hold on to this. The turret goes down once again for Kilroy, and that's going to be a cleanup of this objective. But you know what? That rotation is going to cost them. That's quite a bit of time off that bank.
Yeah, I mean, almost half the time being taken just in one rotation, then an extremely extended fight coming out from them. So Void right now, you know, looking at what we're coming up on through the streets phase, they've got the sound barrier to deal with Trolls' Graviton Surge. Kilroy has that aforementioned combo ready to go almost, and I mean, Yeet let out a massive roar with that shatter, but didn't have the follow-up to go in with it, so you're missing that. Almost a full six-pack ready to go for Void.
All right, back into the action. We hear the Amp Matrix coming out. Shadow with that Deadeye looking for something. Does grab Trolls. Even though that Graviton was holding them all together, it doesn't look like that's going to slow Void down in the least. They're going to go ahead and keep on pushing in here with 4 minutes on the clock. It's going to keep on working out for them. Amp Matrix now coming out with the Deadeye in return. But they've already created the space that they need. Those are going to wear out as that payload rounds the corner. Now it's going to be down to the sheer metal and remaining ultimates on the field. Self-destruct going in against the Molten Core, and each find one in the end. Bagel Friend able to take down Yeet amidst the chaos, and Gatsby getting a little bit of a hot foot, but you know that Blizzard Queen holding on strong. The Maywall comes out. Blizzard enacted, trying to hold it all together, and that's going to be the rest of the cleanup. Double, triple kill on the field, and that's going to be Objective 2, making up for that time they lost on Objective 1.
Well, I tell you what, that was an expensive fight for them just to get that second point. I mean, they invested the sound barrier and the self-destruct, two of the slower building ultimates here, and they just, I mean, they get the value, they take the point, but, I mean, Dog Meat was 1% off of having sound barrier to counteract all that, but they have it for the next fight, and really not facing much of anything other than Magic Otter's Shatter coming up.
All right, we're getting ready to see them around this final corner, trying to send it into the final resting spot of this objective. As we go ahead and see the shield going down for Magic Otter, there's going to be very little that they can do at this point to be able to hold it all together. The pin comes in, finds Billroy amidst the chaos, and Phantasmal kind of floundering right now, having a hard time holding it all together as they reach the 4-minute mark. They got to keep this going. They got to get them off that objective as quickly and as they possibly can. The Deadeye coming out for Shadow in the side room, looking for someone. Anyone finds Dogmeat in the end, and Trolls spin to win, baby. That's how we do it here in the Harmony tier, looking to boop anyone and everyone off this objective, and nobody has been able to find Trolls just yet. Bagel Friend coming out with this Lucio play, trying to clean some stuff up as the Blizzard and Beat look to solidify this objective for now. And that's going to be a cleanup here. 0.17 meters remaining on the objective. Shatter coming out, but they're still feeding. They're feeding into this objective like crazy, and I don't think there's anything that they can do to stop the chaos that's coming out of spawn.
I mean, the Immortalia Barrier was invested there, and I thought Penn might be able to get something. Trolls, though, has been putting on a yeoman's work here, just getting so much value on this and stalling out, allowing the people to keep coming out on the stall characters. I'd love to see Gatsby, I'd love to see, the members of Abysmal bring out stall characters to, really bring out the speed. Kilroy bringing the Hanzo out. I'd rather see a Tracer in this mode.
Well, speaking of Tracer, you see Shadow back in the fight now on that Tracer, looking to clean up as much as they possibly can with that Amp Matrix. They shaved off a lot of time, but Phantasmal not going to be able to shut them down. 2 minutes, 31 seconds on the clock as Void goes ahead and locks in that time bank for this run.
Off-tank difference right there. The Diva of Dire Raven for Void, absolutely mitigating so much damage and being able to kite back for the supports. Are you kidding me? The work that's being done by this Diva player has been phenomenal. And I just think that, the picks that came out from the DPS, I mean, really, it was a bit odd seeing the Torbjorn, and you didn't even, get the payoff with the Graviton Surge Molten Core combo. You hit the Q button there and let loose, then you had it up. I'm not sure what the disconnect there was for the two teams, but they're going to have a chance to make their own mark going into the attack, and I'm really hoping that they have a bit different of an idea here as far as their DPS players. I think Trolls bringing out the Zarya here could work for them. Otherwise, you really do need to mirror that Diva to be able to mitigate the same amount of damage that we were seeing out of Dire Raven.
Absolutely, and she's just putting on an absolute clinic on that Diva, but it looks like she's going to go ahead and hang up the mech and opt for our Russian sweetheart here on that Zarya. Going to be looking to just pump out that damage with that beam as much as possible, but Phantasmal opting for the double sniper. Once again, we are in the Harmony tier, so that is gold to platinum level play, so it could end up paying off a little bit better than what we're used to seeing in the higher tiers.
Yeah, I mean, nice angle here. Took an arrow to the dome there. Oh my word, nice shooting there coming out from Shadow. I mean, we're looking for Grab Blizzard here. We're looking for Grab Dragons coming out from their DPS and tank duos. Yeah, Zatinu, I mean, you're going into shields, you're going into bubbles, you're going into not very good lines of sight here as well. So, if you can get a pick, then let's see what you get.
All right, so it looks like Phantasmal's like, anything you can do, I can do better, and they're looking for this rotation, but Void is literally just backing up to the attacker side of the Alderworth to go ahead and take up that background space, making sure nobody's sneaking up behind him. We see the anti-nade coming in, but it will wear off before they're able to grab any value off of it, as we see Shadow finding Zatnu on that high ground. Sleep Dart comes in, but not going to be sleeping for long as Magic Otter, as we go ahead and see them take their leave into the Alderworth Hotel. I don't think it's going to be enough for them to be able to hold this all together. The Shatter coming out from Yeet, but it looks like it just got yeeted, because there's no follow-up to be able to keep that going. didn't find the picks that it really needed to there. And at the end of the day, it looks like Void is going to be able to clear this objective. And that's one fight. Almost took 2 whole minutes off the clock.
I mean, it's kind of happened the same way for Void on their attack phase, but Trolls right now, I think that you're making the smart decision here to mirror the beam of the Zarya for Dire Raven, because you're just getting completely owned in that department. Really, you need to have the quick recognition of what they're running and being able to adapt on the fly. I think that's one thing that I tell a lot of gold and platinum players, that be willing to forego the ultimate charge in favor of getting the work done.
All right, well, Zadnu's coming in to do some work on that Doomfist. Kilroy does find Sweaty Asian in the end. The fist missed, but uppercut doesn't. Taking down the other heels, and with that being said, that is all she wrote. Phantasmal will go ahead and lock down this objective, but they got a lot of room to make up in the streets.
They absolutely do, but I mean, dog meat on this Ana, enabling the Doomfist.
Whoa!
Player, putting that out there. Look at all that damage just going in from the Doomfist player, and now you have a clear win condition going up. I mean, Trolls has got to work really hard with the right clicks here to build up that grab quickly, so you can get the maximum value out of it. Grab dragons are available for Void though. Bill Roy's gonna have a massive immortality barrier to really battle this.
Well, let's see if they can make it happen. Bagelfriend also has that beat online to try to cancel it out. Dragon Strike and grab coming out. Triple kill coming in. The immortality not there in time to be able to hold it all together. Trolls does find Gatsby amid the chaos, and they're just going to continue pushing. They're able to go ahead and clear the objective regardless of the picks that came in, and they're going to go ahead and keep that payload moving.
Yeah, and Shadow letting loose with the dragons, just get rid of the ultimate, see if you can find any kind of a lucky pick, and then swapping over to the McCree. So now, pure brawl going on right now for Void. Trolls is going to have the head on the swivel to make sure that they don't get the Graviton Surging.
All right, we see Zatnu coming in. The shift over to the McCree there for Shadow as the Meteor Strike finds Sweaty Asian in the end. And Zatnu is just unhinged right now on this Doomfist. Shadow does end up sending him back to spawn for a moment, and it looks like the numbers will not be in their favor as that Peacekeeper goes ahead and cleans up the point of all that is Phantasmal.
Yep, and I mean, look at the swap. Shadow immediately getting value on the McCree, being able to deal with the Doomfist. And now Zatnu, do you have anything else in your arsenal to be able to counterpick against it, or do you go into a pure mirror here? Shadow, putting out some pretty good IQ there, recognizing their win condition in the Doomfist and just being able to CC and delete Zatnu out of the server.
All right, well, let's see if they can keep it going. They do have the Graviton Surge online this time around. Give a nano to Zatnu once again. Might provide a lot of damage. Gonna give it to Yeet instead. Gonna swing that hammer and yeet, yeet, yeet. Everyone, anyone that is in their way. All the Yeets coming out for Yeet right now as they send 1, 2, 3 back to spawn. Make it 4 as they catch Bagelfriend in the sky. That's gonna be objective Bravo captured, as they go ahead and add another minute and a half to that time bank.
And we say on a diff, because we're going to say on a diff right there, because that was absolutely anti-nades and Nano winning the fight for them, really. You have a very aggressive main tank here that is not afraid to just go ahead and WM1 into the team and just let us have it. I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Well, let's see if they can go ahead and keep it going. Yeet trying to make themselves as small as the payload to be able to keep from having that damage soaked up by their shield, and we will see that window coming out. The Shatter does find 2, and Kilroy able to melt down Sweaty Asian in the end. Dragon Strike coming in, finds Gatsby. They thought they were safe behind that wall, but no. And the Meteor Strike finds Shadow in the back line, and now they're moving in. They might be on the lower time bank, but this would not be the first time that we have seen a team be able to turn this sucker around. Bagel Friend trying to hold it all together as we see Magic Otter on that ball. You know how much of a nuisance Magic Otter can be on that ball, and they're just going to go ahead and keep sending everybody around. But Zadnu and Kilroy, they are indeed killing this objective right now. Pick after pick after pick. It doesn't matter what stall's coming out, and Bagel Friend gets deleted by the Fire Strike before the beat comes out. Minute 27 on the clock, and they're going to take the attack once again to see if they can do better this time.
I mean, the swaps that came out were absolutely pivotal. And, you know, there seemed to be a good coordination going around the last bend of point C there. Zadnu getting maximum value out of this Doomfist. I'm here for it. But Kilroy showed up very nicely on that Hanzo. I really like the Hanzo variant going in with what they're trying to do, because the Antonades are coming in. You've got the Storm Arrows to beat down the shield. And then Zadnu's just in their back line, living rent-free, just taking care of the supports anytime they get. And if they have a pure line of sight on anybody sitting out, going for it. Going with that rocket punch into them and just taking members of Void out one by one. That was a brilliant take at point C, getting their full 3 points. Now, you know, they're going to be on the attack again. They've got to have the wind of themselves. This is the moment where I think that they can turn this around and really bring the heat into Void. Let's see if they got it in their book.
I think that they have it to do, and Zadnu is going to start off on that Doomfist this time around, but Shadow is ready and waiting with that flashbang, as well as Bagel Friend swapping over to the Brig. So gonna get a little bit less speed, a little less peel there, but you are gonna have that extra stun to be able to deal with that Doomfist. The question is, will Troll's bubble be on point enough that they can get in, do the damage, and get out that quickly?
That's the real question. Do they have the coordination to bubble Zadnu properly and at the right time to give him maximum value and maximum escapability?
Looks like they're not going to opt for that high ground rotation. Probably a good idea when you only got 60 seconds on the clock now. Maywall comes out, separating out Yeet from the rest of the team, and Zadnu is already down as Dire Raven ends up finding them on the high ground, and they will get demeched in the end with Yeet falling soon after. But with already a good chunk of the time bank already gone, they only got one more fight to be able to lock this down.
Yep, I think Yeet's going to get their Shatter Up, though. I think that's the big play right now, is that Yeet's going to get a Shatter Up. You're going to get the Amp Matrix up probably as well. And if Dogmeat hits any kind of a sizable biotic grenade into Void, you're going to see...
Whoa! There it is. The bubble comes out, ends up getting the DMEC once again onto Dire Raven, but the Shatter does pop off, and Trolls gets deleted by Magic Otter's tackle. The Deadeye finds Kilroy as well, and here comes the Amp Matrix trying to provide some healing to be able to keep Yeet up. Shatter! Coming in, gets the 4K as they try to clean it up. The Maywall separating it out, but I don't think it matters anymore. They deleted that wall. The remake comes in for Dire Raven, but I think it's too little, too late. They're not going to be able to hold it all together, and Magic Otter switches over to that ball to try to sustain, but I don't think they're going to be able to do it on this point. Trolls on the ball themselves, they're going to be able to hold it all together and chase down that ball whenever and wherever they go. Phantasmal goes ahead and locks down Objective Alpha, but it's overtime, baby, and they got to keep their butts firmly planted on that cart.
Oh, Jack, they just fed so much ult charge into Abysmal there. That was kind of abysmal in their overtime engagement there. Sorry, I had to take it. Void just fed so much into it. Now, you're going to have self-destruct coming into this fight for Dire Raven. So, I mean, you know, a good wall will be able to deny them the chance to get out of that. I mean, you've got to really be looking at Dire Raven. You've got to know that self-destruct is almost online.
All right, well, Dire Raven's got it on. The question is, will it be big? Zadnu falling low, but able to get the health pack just barely as the Dragon Strike looks to create some space. Oh, and ends up slamming Magic Otter into the side with Kilroy getting the clean up. This Doomfist is just crazy insane right now as they go ahead and continue to clean up this objective. They're rushing into Objective Bravo, and I don't think there's anything Void can do to stop them.
I mean, you could throw a Hail Mary self-destruct, see if you get anything out of it. I think that they've got one last fight here to take, but I mean, you've got the Meteor Strike of Zatnu to deal with it. Nope, they just did the better part of Valor and just got around the corner. They'll take their stand here on the first point. They've got so many initiators to deal with. You can start with the self-destruct. You can beef yourself up with the rally.
Woo! Wow, Zatnu on the brink of death right there as the Maywall keeps that Diva Bomb in place. Zatnu finds Shadow, though, with the Meteor Strike. Their biggest problem, the bubble gets nothing but shatter right there, and Yeet nanoed in is going to be swinging for the stars. Bagel Friend is too far away, and the anti-nade goes on to Gatsby. They're going to be able to hold for a little bit, but they're going to get picked off here by that big old hammer. Once again, the conductor is in, and Yeet is taking this train all the way to the station.
The only thing that they have to worry about now is Gatsby's Blizzard. If you can recognize it soon, then you're going to get maximum value, get full 6 points here. This is all to play for. They're still in OT. Big nade coming in from Dog.
Woo! Well, here comes the Blizzard. They got to hold it all together. And Matrix coming in, as does the Immortality Field, but not a pick. Not a pick to be had because Trolls and Zatnu getting the bubbles, and they're going to clean it up, keeping their team alive. And there it is. No matter what they do, no matter what they say, even if they don't get this final point, it might as well have been captured. And that's a 6-rounder right there. We're going into round 4 now. Let's see if Void can do the same.
Oh, they finally unlocked their full potential, the full Super Saiyan on board there for Abysmal. You were not Abysmal in that overtime round. Oh my goodness. Void, do you have the answer now to bring yourselves to 6-6?
That is truly going to be the question, and the great thing about it is that they have the room to work, right? They don't have to necessarily worry about if they win this map because they already won the first 2, so they can give themselves some space to work with on this. And honestly, a cheese comp, they keep teasing that Bastion, right? But let's be honest here. Have you ever seen the teleport Bastion on the Mandata statue not work? On first point.
Yes, I've seen it not work.
But how rare is it? But how rare is, if you do it right, how rare is it that it doesn't work?
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean,
exactly.
Generally it works. But I mean, yeah, it's a bit cheesy. It could work, but Phantasmal here, really going to just see if they can hold off 2.5 minutes. That's a good enough time for them to get a series of ultimates up for both sides. So I think it comes down to, DPS ultimates here. I think it comes down to Dragon versus, 2 Meteor Strikes and a Death Blossom for Gatsby. Bringing out the Edgelord himself. I am living for it. Let's see if they can take that care of Trolls and Yeet.
We sure will. Thank you so much to Flawless Graham for the follow. Welcome to the family. As Magic Otter able to get that Fire Strike on the Kilroy to start things off. Shadow taking on the Doomfist as well to see if they can go ahead and match the power and ferocity. But right now, Dire Raven not providing the same kind of bubblage. Honestly, I'm a little surprised that Shadow survived during that fight. But the frustration and force was on that main tank line. And with time in the bank, they're going to be able to grab Objective Alpha.
It's the burst healing of the Moira right now. That's what's really keeping them up and keeping them nice and topped off. Also, Bagel Friend being able to amp the heals when necessary. That's also really enabling Gatsby and Shadow to just be ultra aggressive right now. Magic Otter as well. Look at Yeet. Yeet is going to have a massive shatter here. I'm calling it right now.
Well, let's see if they can make it happen. Anti-Nade coming out. Now that's only doing damage, and it finds Bilroy in the end. Shadow versus Zatnu as they go into each other's front and back lines. They find themselves on the high ground, and Shadow ends up getting the 1-2 punch in the end, thanks to the help of Gatsby having their back. And now the Sleep Dart comes in. That's going to allow Shadow to take a quick little nap, but that time bank's going down, and that payload's still moving.
Yep, they're playing for Grab Dragons here. I mean, you can go Space Jam combo 2 with Zatnu if you so desire, but Grab Dragons, obvious win condition here for Phantasmal. Also, the At Matrix is going to have to get out of LOS.
Oh, Shadow finds Kilroy on the high ground. It is going to have to be the Space Jam. The Shatter comes in fat, and the Graviton to clean it up. They want to make sure that they clear this objective as quickly as possible. They know that there is time on the clock, and they know that they've staggered them out a little bit, but honestly, if they just hold this payload, I don't think they're going to be able to stop them from touching it at least one last time.
You know, the favorite line of Moira is, get off the stage. Well, she just got off the stage real quick.
All right, Meteor Strike coming in, but Yeet ends up finding Shadow in the end. Zatnu and Magic Otter trying to make their ways in to find one another as Zatnu in that back line trying to find some value. The Blossom on the objective gets nothing but immortality, and Trolls just melts them down. Kilroy and Zatnu want to get a piece of the action as well, and that is it. We will see Phantasmal put themselves on the board, taking Kings Row 6-4 in this first to four series. But currently, Boyd still in the lead for now, and Yeet. Some massive shatters, massive plays, and this was the one that shut it down and secured this win for him.
Yeah, just absolutely huge. Nice press of the Q button with the nano investor. Get off the stage, sweaty agent. Seriously. Right? I mean, what a turnaround. What a turnaround for them. They found their win condition. They found their real brawl style. And I think that Kilroy on the Hanzo may have been the silent assassin for them, being able to poke from range and the storm arrows into the opposing Reinhardt shield. I mean, they didn't know which way to go. They did not know which way to turn, especially with Zatnu just flying around on the Doomfist. That was a singularly impressive performance from them. My goodness, they had everything to play for. Void, I mean, they're playing very well, but they just got smacked around. Once Zatnu brought out the Doomfist, it was all that they could do to keep themselves up.
That's absolutely true. Thank you so much for joining us, folks. I'm having a couple of technical difficulties with the stream on my end, so while we're on our 10-minute break, we are going to close the stream, but it's going to be back up in another 2 minutes as that delay kicks in. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more amazing action here on the CaptJack channel in just a few moments. And here we go. Welcome back, folks, to the CaptJack channel, where we have Phantasmal versus Void, just absolutely popping off tonight. I mean, this is what we have seen all week during the semifinals. We've seen a lot of gods die this week. I know the rest of our casters, except for Navino, has no idea what I'm talking about. But we have seen some essentially undefeated teams throughout all of the tiers just get laid out by folks that we thought were going to be the ones getting laid out, and that's huge. Seeing that turnaround, especially in the playoffs. Like, we've been going at this 3 months, all right? Like, seeing that kind of turnaround at the last moment is just absolutely amazing. But here we're seeing some kind of even playing field right here between Phantasmal and Void. They currently have the 2-1 over Phantasmal. Void does, but playstyle wise, both of these teams are pretty well popping off, and Phantasmal might be getting their stride going into this next map. So I'm gonna hand it over to Man of Class and Chef Billy. Gentlemen, take it away.
Woo! Doing it, Billy. Going to map 4. I was kind of shaking. I was sitting here like, oh, first of 4 series, you're gonna see like a lot of maps, and then it was almost like, oh, we're gonna go to map 4. It might be the last one, but they pull it back. Kings Row, the great equalizer as we call it, and they did equalize. Well, not quite. Still 2-1, but they're getting there.
Yeah, they're definitely getting there. I think that looking at Kilroy and Zatnu especially, their DPS absolutely was just killing it. Once they recognized win conditions, once they recognized they could be a little bit more brawly, and once we saw Trolls use the Zarya mirror and forced a Dire Raven off of the D.Va, or off of the Zarya trying to bring out a D.Va, we saw everything just really kind of pivot into Phantasmal's direction, and Trolls was landing some massive projected barriers onto Zatanu to just let them just get into the back line and just start assassinating the support. Sweaty Asian and Bagel Friend were under constant duress from Zatanu, and then Kilroy on the Hanzo was being able to just create so much extra space and pressure onto the shielding of Yeet, or onto the shielding of oh gosh, as I look for the names here, of Magic Otter. Man, I mean, it was all to play for, and they just really buckled under the pressure. I think they were realizing they were about to go up 3-0 in the series, and Phantasmal just said, nay, no, we doing this our way. And now, they're sitting about to have the opportunity to even this match out in the first of 4 series. And I mean, if Trolls and Yeet control the pacing of the tank line once again, and just have all the great heals coming in from Dog Meat. I mean, those biotic grenades and sleeps that I saw that player do, absolutely pivotal in them turning it around. So all to play for here. We do have Showdown Shane coming in on the Reinhardt for Void, and Magic Otter is going to bring out the Winston. So a little bit of Bulldozer comp coming out for their offense.
We don't know for sure yet if they're going to run out with this, but I'm all for it. Like you were alluding to, those projected barriers, the anti-nates were really good, but there were also some really clutch immortality fields coming out. I definitely think that their defensive and sustain utility really brought it home on that Kings Row map. But the thing is, Kings Row is the only map where they've really been able to play like a more enclosed style. And now we're getting back to Route 66. Generally a little bit more of an open map, more opportunity for flanks. Let's see if they can actually make that happen here too.
Well, I think that Kilroy versus Gatsby right now, are you going to be able to keep the escapability of an Echo in check, or are you going to just be spammed down from those sticky bombs and Shadow bringing out the McCree again? We saw them pop off on Kings Row. We'll see if they can control Zatnu again.
Otter on the flank, jumped in from the tunnel, gets pooped off the high ground immediately, and Zatanu already takes down the Baptiste on the other side. Yeah, you lose your Doomfist, but you got the Crown Jewel, you got that Baptiste down there, you got the Lucio, you're all good. No more sustain means no more attack.
Yeah, and I mean, look at Dogmeat once again, just showing up huge for their team. Landing the sleep, and then landing the biotic grenade in there with the hack that came in from Kilroy. So, I mean, right now, economy for both sides. Shadow leading the server right now. We're close to Deadeye, but the supports for Phantasmal right now in the lead in their respective positions. I'm loving this BAP auto play, kind of a little bit different than what you see. But, I mean, if they can land any kind of a serious anti-nade into the background, that immortality barrier is going to be for naught.
I would almost call it an overcommitment on utility, but they're doing such a good job that I don't mind. Kilroy gets the hack onto Magic Otter once they get out there with the jump or the barrier, but goes down to 200 HP and still jumps in. That is some very gutsy play right there from Magic Otter, but does manage to stay alive through that bubble. Now Gatsby chasing down the kill on the Zatinu. Make sure that DPS matchup is in their favor, but there's a Graviton coming out from Trolls. We don't quite see what's coming out of that, but it's a trade back and forth. Shadow actually with the double high noon eliminations, and now it's just the tanks. It's just the tanks versus 4 attackers, and that's not going to go well for Yeet and Trolls. That's the attackers getting point A most likely.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't think there's going to be any kind of a chance of a recontest here, Classy, because they don't have the speed to get back. Maybe Zatinu gets in there and touches. Oh, no. That's Yeet.
That's safe.
Yeet yeeted out of the server. Oh, no.
No.
That's an unfortunate DC.
I forgot whether they actually had their ultimate, yes or no. Because I know Trolls just used it. Trolls at DC is like, well, you're Zarya, you have no charge, and you already used your ultimate. You're kind of fine. I don't remember if he used his Shatter. I can't imagine he hadn't.
I don't think that he had played. I think he lost his Shatter there.
That's really a shame. Because that would be the great combo, of course. You know, EMP Shatter is kind of a guaranteed fight win. Yeah, we'll see whether they come back. At least they'll have 0 ult charge. We know that for sure. No guess there. But that means that Showdown Shane has a kind of a free matchup right there, and can then maybe even start lapping if they win that fight, because that ult bank is looking very spicy on one side.
Really does. I mean, Shadow pressed Q at the most opportune moment, and Gatsby is on Zatinu duty. I think that's what their entire focus is right now, is making sure that Zatinu cannot play the game. Sticky bombs into a Doomfist. I mean, you know, they are a pretty beefy boy, but still, that starts to weigh down, and the finishing or the focusing beam that comes in after that. Zatinu has been deleted 3 times already, and it's been twice by Gatsby themselves. The duplicate is going to be ready too. So, I mean, if Yeet is coming back into the fight, trying to get there in a hurry, you could have the potential for 2-3 shatters on the field. There's no way that Phantasmal survives that if they do decide to press the Q button in that moment.
At least Yeet will have a forward spawn, because they will just spawn in the current defender spawn, which is still forward. But yeah, I'm really hoping that they're able to set up as a defensive team, because not losing that ultimate is one thing, but like losing that entire first fight on second, if you get there, that would be really detrimental. Like that's the really big part, because shatters charge up in 5 seconds if you have a good fight, you know.
Yeah.
I would hate for the positioning to be lost, because that archway right there, if you could do a good forward hold, which they have the opportunity to do now, is it's so powerful. And that space also really denies what Gatsby and Magic Otter might want to do, because that Primal Rage and that duplicate usually require a little bit more of a spatial play style. I don't know. You could kind of negate a lot of what they want to do, and you ball them up for an EMP. So yeah, ideal position to fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the nano is going to be available to them too, and that's going to help. That's going to help Yeet if they do throw it onto Yeet, which I don't understand why they wouldn't.
Okay.
You know, bringing that in there, that would be fine. I think that you know, you can build up to that shatter and get them back on even pegging. You know, between the two. I mean, it could also win you the entire fight, because we've seen Yeet, when they get a nano, they're just completely wild with what they do. And I mean, they do not shield whatsoever going into that. So we're gonna look for it.
Yeah, I was waiting to see what's going to happen with Yeet coming back or not, because we're currently still in that pause, of course. So to make sure that we actually get the right thing going. I like the start of that defense, and a lot of it, again, like both teams have had this issue at times. A lot of it comes down to, there's this one player that gets very low but does not get finished off. They're quite able to actually confirm eliminations here and there, and that can sometimes just lose you a fight, because you might have invested a lot of resources into trying to get the elimination. If you don't get that, then those resources are not able to be used for something else. and then the player comes back and they just overwhelm you. It's is in summary sort of what happened there in the end. Does look like Geet is finally back, Billy, so we don't have to stall anymore. We can talk about actual live gameplay soon. Already looking forward to it. You know how it is. You know how it is.
Oh, I know how it is. It happens so many times, but it's okay. Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I think that they may have overinvested into that fight once they lost, their main tank, they did use the amp matrix from I'm Bill Roy. So they're not going to have that, and Sweaty Asian has theirs. So that's going to be another amount of just pure damage coming in from Void as they, capture point A here. I don't think there's any chance that they get here unless Kilroy comes in and under invisibility and then comes in and gets on top of them. They might be able to, but I think it's just throwing your life away if you try to do that.
Totally is. The pause is going to be broken. Going to go back into the game. Yeet actually switching over to the Wrecking Ball. Maybe thinks he has to get back to the fight quickly. No, does realize I have forward spawn. I can just go Reinhardt. That's great. Could you imagine if they just think like, oh, I have to go ball here because otherwise I won't make it in time, and then yeah, it would have been a tragedy. But they didn't make it. 4 minutes down the clock, plenty of time to work with, and already Magic Otter very far forward. They could punish this maybe.
I mean, they do have Primal Rage though, so I mean, you can reset your health pool and get up to 1,000. So I mean, I like the aggression here, but right now they've got to worry about this EMP because EMP could win them the fight, especially with a Nano Yeet.
Nano Doomfist. Right up to Zatnu. Takes down Shadow without a whiff of a pause there. Doesn't manage to connect with anything else. So does have to back out. And Magic Otter's making so much space. Gets hacked, anti-nated, slept all the way out of there. But still able to just jump back to the payload, get healed back up. They're going to be fine. Gatsby with the duplicate now. Will just get straight away taken out of it. Again, a beautiful anti-nated coming out from Dogmeat. They've been landing left, right, and center. And now with this window, that was their problem, right? They don't have their own widow. Well, they don't need it if they have the EMP and Meteor Strike combo. Zatinu being set up for these eliminations every single time. And now just Gatsby trying to get some more ult charge back. They know they're not going to win that fight.
Yep, and EMP wins them the fight in
What's Shadow doing?
Shadow what?
He just got 2 kills at the end of that fight. Might get a third if you go too deep. No, we'll get punished. But still, at the end of that fight, I mean, I know Shadow died early, so he had to come back, but that's just ridiculous.
Well, he gained Deadeye with that assassination as well. So,
yeah.
I mean, the ultimate value goes to him. Now that you've got Deadeye online, still really not much to deal with it. I mean, Kilroy's probably going to be on duty there to try and hack him out of it. But, I mean, you've got Nano once again. Dogmeat is just getting so much value on this Ana. I'm absolutely loving their play.
Zetnu trying to get away from now because they're actually being focused down, but not for too long. Kilroy. Nice translocation position to be ready for it. Oh, of course, beautiful anti-nade into the Graviton. Don't need that sound barrier. Well, you did need it, but it was too late. Magic Otter does take down Dogmeat, so no more anti-nades this fight. No more sleep darts for that Winston to worry about. And we'll get I'm Bill Roy as well. Magic Otter to support Slayer right now with the Primal Rage to follow it up. It is just beautiful Winston play all around. You know they can play the ball, but the monkey is also in their arsenal.
Yep, just beautiful series of events. They pulled a lot of cooldowns out, and once the supports were down, it was done and dusted. Bye-bye. We're going to get some free cart push now. Look at Showdown Shane, though. Almost has another shatter. Yeet actually yeeted his into the wall on the high ground there. I mean, Shadow, right now, this is on your shoulders, young person. Where are you going to go? How are you going to get this built up and duplicate ready to go again? This is going to be huge.
Got our nano boost onto the Doomfist. It's an interesting choice, but it does seem to keep working out for them, so I don't know why you would change it. Shadow does find Kilroy, but I think it's already too late. 3 down, 3v1, 4v1, and Zatnu is just the carry that they need. And the hyper carry because of the nano boost. They just keep throwing it on. It keeps working, so why change it?
I mean, I don't see any reason why you don't keep doing it. I mean, I love the Yeet nanos, but what I'm looking for next, EMP into this next fight. I mean, if you land an EMP in any kind of a serious biotic grenade into Void, that's a fight win. And you're go up sub 60 seconds now, Classy. So this could be almost last fight territory.
They're really playing around this Doomfist beautifully now. That's where their kill value comes from. There's the EMP, 6-man once again. That's what you love to see. Magic Otter will not survive that one, and that's a shatter to just top it all off. You're not gonna get done with that one. Zatnu with the uppercut finish. You know what? If you want to call something brawl, that's how you do it. It's the full smackdown combo.
Yeah, full send on the uppercut there. Rocket punch into that beautiful shatter from Yeet once again. I mean, now you've got Amp Matrix to really stop the positioning coming in. You can really clog off the avenues that Void want to take here. I mean, this is a turnaround from what we saw in the first 2 maps. And look at that, getting super cagey here, trying to get in behind and maybe find a support. Yep.
Yep. Find another one. And just every single time. Will not find the Baptiste, but Sweaty is so low. Will actually survive, but the tanks are down. Couldn't find the moment to heal them up under all the pressure. Kilroy's ready on the side, hacking targets left, right, left, and right. And now Kilroy just finishing off Gatsby. Yeah, we'll get that 2 overtime ticking away, and that's round 1 done and dusted. And Void, they won those first 2 maps, but it's really starting to turn here. King's Row was already a close showing, and this one, I mean, this is not a far distance on Route 66. We see full holds. We've seen weirder, but it's definitely not a place where you want to get held.
No, indeed, you don't. I mean, they're getting just such great value from Kilroy. Kilroy might be the jack of all trades here in the DPS department for Phantasmal, but Zatnu, I mean, you can't deny the work being done by the Doomfist, and if you're going to nano Doomfist and get maximum value out of that, I mean, almost unstoppable at points. I think that Gatsby and Shadow have to make them, once again, the priority. And do we see maybe Sweaty Asian? Yeah, I was figuring that we might see the Brigitte come out to try and help deal with Zatnu. Sorry for the loud noise in my background there. I had a semi-truck go by my house.
I do think, though, that they might be underestimating how far Zatnu can travel from those high grounds. Every single time you see those angles come out, you're like, you can almost forget how far Doomfist can get if he gets enough lead time, if he gets enough air, if he gets enough space to work with. And he just appears somewhere from the top rope behind them, and they're just not ready for it. So Void, having to realize that is a big deal, but I also think that when you go on the defense now, those high ground advantages that Zatnu was continuously working with on defense are not going to be there anymore. Is he going to be able to do that still?
I mean, it just depends on his pathing and positioning, and also he's got to worry about not only Bagel Friend, but he's also got a turret to worry about, and if you place it behind Big Earls, anytime that he tries to go in there and get aggressive, he's going to have that turret pumping in the damage on top of him.
Trying to find that angle right now. Looking from the bottom tunnel. Ooh, almost gets hooked there. Magic Otter realizing that one. I like the Roadhog pick. You don't see it often enough, but this is a great point for it. Kilroy, of course, going after the health backs, but Billroy's the first one that falls. We Baptisteless for now, but that's where Dogmeat comes in. You know, Ana does a lot of healing on her own. Not like a Lucio or a Brigitte can really realize.
Yeah, and seeing Kilroy miss on the hack there onto Magic Otter, that's going to be a bit different. Nice hook.
Hook comes out. Kills are going back and forth a little bit. At least the cart's still being pushed. That's a very positive thing. But it will be Magic Otter finishing off this push by getting Yeet out of there. Oh, the sleep dart. No stagger. That could have been a nasty stagger, but they left it. They just, you know what? We'll just finish them off. Can't take them out of their misery. No long spawn for you trolls.
Now look at this. We are seeing the DPS swap up now. Zatnu bringing out the Cowboy. And Kilroy bringing out that Hanzo that got such great value on King's Row. I mean, Yeet with Shatter in hand. This could be a very dynamic fight, but they don't realize Magic Otter's there. Oh, you lost the good positioning you had.
I don't know, like the Roadhog is a tough one, right? Because you don't want to get slept and stunned and anti-nated, but still finds Zatanu. Just let them come in a little bit further so you guarantee that hook. No Reinhardt or Zarya in the way to bubble or shield. Gotta get slapped here by Dogmeat. I hope they realize this and finish off this Roadhog. The anti-nade is out, and the finish will follow with a high noon gets Dogmeat regardless. So the Roadhog sacrifice was definitely worth it in that one. Shadow rolling away will get the safety. Still being chased by Reinhardt, but Yeet's not gonna go that far. Showdown Shay now. Not the dominant Reinhardt, because you do get smacked on the floor. Will the follow-up beat there? kind of, not really. Yeah, there we go. Finally, Shadow also finding a kill onto Kilroy. And it is still a little bit back and forth here. Attacker spawn would eventually go out, but this fight is dragging more and more. And it is just draining the time bank at the very least.
Yeah, but I mean, Molten Core really sectioning off the point. But I mean, Kilroy and yeah. Trolls and Yeet just didn't care.
You still need bodies. You know?
Yeah.
Still need bodies.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't care because Billroy and Dogmeat were there just topping them off and getting, even more ult charge. They're going to have Amp Matrix to go around this corner here. And I mean, Kilroy, once again, showing the value with the Hanzo. We're going to see both DPS ultimates come up here. You can shoot that through the Amp Matrix and just absolutely, oh, no. Please not Yeet again. Oh, no,
He's
no.
not 100% this time, though. Maybe,
Yeah.
I mean, 50 is still not great, but who is it? Who's going to be the victim?
Who's the victim?
Who's the victim?
Classy.
Who's the victim? Whose ISP is acting up?
Oh, no.
We'll figure it out. It's like, I don't have that issue with ISP, right? Like, I always hear the horror stories and the many disconnects, etc. I'm just here in the Netherlands where, we're a developed country, so we actually have internet. And then it just works for us, I don't know what it is.
Your country is like a quarter of the size of my state that I live in.
Oh yeah, no, we're tiny, but that's also, that's where like the fragmentation of Europe comes in. We have smaller countries, so we're actually able to, build infrastructure very well individually. That might be a thing. I don't know. It's also older, so that might also help in terms of how it's built up. That being said, aside from Europe over NA, we're just gonna look at what's gonna happen here because no one is actually disconnected from the lobby yet. Sometimes it does take a while, and the pause could also just be otherwise instituted. I think it was actually instigated by Void this time, so not by Phantasmal. So that does lead me to think that it wasn't Yeet that went out, which is a good thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a little bit of an update. Okay. I just want to make sure they're okay.
Yeah. I want to know exactly what's going on here with these teams and with these players. We care. We care that this is good Overwatch, that they get to play their game. Over 3 minutes 30 and only having like 2/3 of the second checkpoint to go. It is looking pretty good right now for Phantasmal. They're really looking like they're going to make this a 2-2 and even up the series. And then we're going to go into the extra rounds. Well, we call it extra rounds, but obviously we're just going to repeat the cycle. 2CP will not be played again, though, Billy. How do you feel about that? You mean
I'm
2CP,
okay with that.
It's it's a thing.
I hate 2CP with all my heart.
Okay. So the way, I always put it, the way we always put it, at least I always put it that way, is like 2CP is a great map type to watch. It's a great map type to cast, but it's the worst map type to play.
You bet.
There's a reason why they're taking it out, because eventually you want to have players to have fun, and you want it to be competitively viable and all of that. So I understand they're taking it out, but it's definitely one of those where, as a caster, I don't mind it.
Yeah. I do want to interrupt here for just a moment while we got this pause going on. Like we said, does seem that it is on Void's side. So of course their timeout time is at the top. I don't think they've had a DC yet, so it's ticking down right now. But it seems that both of them have been pretty good. Navino, I know that you're here, but I love you, buddy. I love you so much. We got some learning some new stuff as we go along. As you saw, we just did the bet in the chat. Oh wow, we're back into it. Back to you guys.
It's all good, Jack. Love to take it back from ya. Kilroy almost ready with that dragon. Trolls has got the graviton, so we know what's gonna happen, Billy. Be Graph Dragon time. I'm all for it. Yeet's already on the front lines trying to corral them all into one place. The shatter misses. Showdown Shane was like, yeah, I'm gonna get ya, but Yeet dropped down just in time, and now they're all corralled up on that low ground. You could get at least 2 or 3 in a graviton if you wanted to, but they're not gonna go for it just yet. Trolls is waiting for the ultimate moment, and there it is. The Winston in it. That's going to be at least 1 elimination, but it's not even a Graph Dragon. The Deadeye just gets 2. Why would you even use the other ultimates? It's just to put them in place so that Zetinu can get another beautiful combination. The Nano comes out on the Brigitte, but there's the Shatter. It's just the icing on the cake. This point is done and dusted. Yeah, the Wrecking Ball might touch, but it's not going to be enough. It's just one hamster against the world. It's not going to happen today. It is going to be Phantasmal evening up the series. It's a 2-2, Billy. And they do it. They're doing it.
Phantasmal, I'll take my my fee for getting you guys back into this series, but via PayPal. No, seriously.
What's your rates for this?
Candy. I'm playing for candy.
Okay.
But still, I mean, just great turnaround from them. Great understanding of what they need to do to win this. I mean, that was just a filthy shatter. That was a shatter and uppercut coming out of Zatnu. That was just the nail in the coffin for their for the attacking phase for Void. Just look at this. I mean, Kilroy on that Sombra made life hard. They did not allow Void to play the game the way they wanted to. And, you know, this really fast, rapid recognition of win conditions and picks and counter picks to what Void was showing there. Kilroy and Zatnu need to have a gold star by their name right now because they, you know, picked what they needed to make sure they would win this map. And I mean, it's all to play for now. This is bonus Overwatch as I take a head out of here and let some more casters come in. But man, I'm actually going to stay and watch this with my mic muted so I can see who wins this because I'm on the edge of my seat.
It's not over until the last map is played, and right now we're going to 2-2. Could very well go to map 7, even further if they manage to do some draws. Like you said, for now, I'm gonna give it back over to Jack, and Navino is gonna be joining it. Another combination that we haven't tried out tonight, so might as well just keep it going. Guys, take it away for map 5.
Awesome. Thank you so much there, Maniclass and Billy. We're going to go ahead and get this going once again. Take 2 of round 1 here. Hopefully we can keep Navino with us this time around. How's everything going with you there, Navino? Everything good on the stream now that you're back?
Oh yeah, it's all good now. I'm excited to see. I think the comps to run tonight have been really interesting, kind of wacky. I know I feel like I talk about it every time, but like, what's so nice about the current like state of the game is almost anything can be run. Like obviously there are like good and bad compositions still, but like almost anything can work, as we see here. Like we've seen so many weird combinations. Like we had the Bat Brig with like Sombra Doomfist and Ryan Zarya, and then we had Ryan Winston from the other team. Like it's anything is possible right now.
That is absolutely true. And, you know, again, like we've been talking about, the storyline just keeps rotating itself through, right? It seems that one team kind of gets the upper hand for the first 2 maps. You know, we think about, you know, the regular season as a sprint, but when you get to the playoffs, it's a marathon, all right? You are trying to work against the clock and trying to either finish the game as quickly as you possibly can, or the goal is for you to be able to drag it out so that you get the steam built under you to be able to do that. And this is what we're seeing right here, right? Phantasmal had a hard going, starting things off, and now Void might be losing a little bit of steam. I mean, they are subbing some people out as the night goes on, so that kind of keeps a couple of people fresh, but people like A Woodies, Gatsby, Bagel Friend, Sweaty Asian, most of them are staying in the fight over and over again, and it looks like we're going to be heading next to Lijiang Tower for our next map as I go ahead and get that set up.
I'm like, just like when I first entered Trank last season, you know, with Joey in Discord tier, I really hated the 1-4 format for playoffs because I was like, dang, bro, these matches are so long. But now I really enjoy it because like it allows for these like comebacks. You know, it allows for you to build a team like Koala, like the team I play on now, like went down 0-2 and came back and won 4 in a row to win our game. Joey went down 3-1 in the stream match and brought it back to win 3 in a row for their game, right? Like these games are built for storylines because no matter where you are in the match, even at match point, anything is possible. And that's what I love. As we see some really good comps coming here, a traditional rush, except with Lana instead of Lucio, coming out from Phantasmal, and then we got the Ball Zarya comp that I really liked from Ilios coming out from Void. So I actually really like this. They just need to end the fights quickly, focus fire, doing really well, while Kilroy is going to play to shut down Magic Otter as much as possible.
Yeah, and I mean that's been the biggest issue they've been one of the biggest issues they've been having so far, right? This hack fist combination between Kilroy and Zatnu. Already, A Woody's having to use the recall to be able to get out of there and get their health back. As we go ahead and see Phantasmal engaging on the objective to try to see if they can create the space. The Void has already taken the hack, coming into Gatsby, gets sent up into the air, but doesn't get it finished off thanks to the help of a Bagel friend, sending those health packs their way. And Sweaty Asian just clicking heads. No tranquility here, folks. All death and destruction here on the Gardens as Void takes control.
They did a really good job of just separating everyone out. Even though Kilroy got the hack off onto Magic Otter, like, it didn't really matter at that point because he'd already rolled through, done the displacement. Asian starts putting out Discord and putting out the damage, which allows for the, Woodies and Gatsby to just pick them apart. Because they don't have a Diva to peel. All they have is the Zarya bubble and the Brig. Well, now they have a Brig, actually. But all they have before was the Zarya bubble. I think a Diva, personally, is going to be much better here. But I think they just want the pure raw damage from the Zarya.
That's absolutely true, and it looks like A Woody's has been tasked with Sombra duty, and just constantly keeping on Kilroy's butt to make sure that they can't get in the positions that they need to, or at least while they're uncloaked. Big slam coming in from Magic Otter as they go ahead and try to continue to hold this objective for as long as possible. Remember, they ended up holding the first 2 points on Ilios pretty definitively for the most part, or first point and the last point rather. And it looks like it's going to continue to be in that case. Remember, this ball works really well on this map with that center pillar. And if we go to control center, ooh, this might be a rough one for Phantasmal to lock down.
I think like what they're doing, Void is doing really well, is every time they walk in, Asian is just constantly discording the Rhine, so the Rhine can't really play the game, and then Magic Otter swings in behind him and separates even more, so they just bully the Rhine. Oh, Dog Meat, rest in peace.
Bye, Dog Meat. Ripperoni.
I think they missed the bash.
Oh, that's rough, buddy. That's rough. We always say the Qs are the misclick, but bash, I guess, could be just as deadly. Unfortunately, Minefield coming out, going to go ahead and come with a return shatter from Yeet, but Graviton Surge is going to hold them on that bridge. We will see Kilroy touch, though, to trigger that overtime. Now, here comes the Ant Matrix trying to hold it all together. Gatsby now on that dupe Rhine, counter-tackled by Yeet. Now the EMP is out, gets cleaned up. Gonna go back to that Echo form and see if they can try to take this back in their favor. But now, with Zatnu on that McCree, gonna be doling out that Peacekeeper damage. It might be enough for them to go ahead and shut this down. Magic Otter getting stunned, getting hacked, getting bashed over and over. The punishment never ends for that good old Wrecking Ball as we see Phantasmal take control.
Phantasmal did a really good job of using their ults there to like close the space and get the fight to be in their advantage, right? They close the distance. Once they close the distance, their brawl comp does so much better than the Zen Brig does. The Zen Brig wants space. They want the way to lay down damage, while Ryan and Zarya want to get in your face and just swing. As you see, they're starting pushing already.
All right, back into the action once again. The Deadeye coming out from Zatnu as they try to clean them up before they can even touch the objective. But oh, who's on that point right now? They better rush back and try to find out. I guess it was Magic Otter because they just rolled on through, getting a whole bunch of ult usage. But that point's still in Phantasmal's control.
Yeah, I mean, really good Deadeye and just aggression overall. Oh, never mind, the fight's starting now.
Gotta be quicker than that. Here we go as the rally comes out from Bagel Friend, looking to provide some of that armor to push in with, but that armor ain't gonna matter much when you got the hacks coming in from Kilroy and Billroy cleaning it up with that battle rifle. It looks like no matter what they do, they're gonna end up getting reset. Dog Meat even giving a hello, how's your father with the flail, sending Bagel Friend right over the side. And I hate to say it, Navino, but the tides have turned. We're heading into final fight territory.
holding the point is going to be so much easier for Kilroy to like deal with the ball because the ball has to come into you to touch point and everything, so you know where they're going to be. When they're holding point, the ball has much more free range.
Ooh, Graviton Surge comes out, and the Minefield ends up going behind the Graviton. Dogmeat ends up getting the melt onto Magic Otter with all the stuns, and Gatsby coming in once again with the Reinhardt. Doesn't raise the shield, though, to try to help him mitigate at least some of the damage coming in. And as overtime ticks away, we thought that this was dead, done, and dusted for Void, but the Gardens go to Phantasmal.
Well, Phantasmal was able to take point with those ults, and then as soon as they got point, it's much easier for the Kree and Sombra to hold against us because the enemy, to get position, has to push across bridge or through White Room. Both really good choke points to hold as that brawl composition to just even get their Brig and Zen set up. Now, if I was Void, I might have tried to play Pharah for more just raw poke to try and like get boobs, make it so they can't peek as much. Because the Echo, yes, with stickies can do it, but like they have to get close to use focus beam in a way. And the Kree does a really good job of doing that, while the Pharah can do more poking at very long range, if that makes sense.
That absolutely does make sense. Want to give a quick shout out to CQ Chew for following the channel. Thank you so much for joining the family as we head into the control center to go ahead and start this off. It looks like no ball this time around. They're going to be looking to get Brawly as they swap on over to that Ryan Zarya, and here they go already. Void on the objective, but the hack comes in onto Magic Otter. Goodness gracious, like an otter out of water, the amount of times we continue to see Magic hacked. As they go ahead and rotate around, we see a Symmetra? A Symmetra coming out there. You think that it would just be used to get them into the objective, but a Woody's gonna be charging up to that level 3 beam, grabbing control of the objective for Void, but it's not gonna last for long. We see the speed coming in. No speed boost, but just speed and aggression coming out from Phantasmal. Team kill rings loud as the point swaps over at the 20% mark.
Sim and Junk is really popular in this point, and many, like even the highest levels of play, because it's just an enclosed space, and Sim can just put those turrets on and get massive value because it's hard to run away from her. But the Kree and the Sombra did a really good job of zoning out and using their utility to make it so they could not take the space they needed to take. And if they play in more open spaces, like on point, the Kree gets value.
That is absolutely true. The question is, can they keep that going? The Shatter coming out from Yeet, returned by Magic Otter. I don't think anybody touched the ground, though, so that's not going to be helpful. Graviton Surge coming out from Trolls as you see the flashbang try to come out, but when you lock up the Otter, it's like a monkey in the cage, gonna be released, and here it comes. Deadeye comes out from Zatnu, finds Gatsby in the back line. But I hate to tell you this, that Junkrat is not the thing you gotta be dealing with. You got a big German man right in your face, and they're swinging away at everything right now. Magic Otter just cleaning it up with a Woody's, getting those final blows over and over and over again. At the 55% mark, we see control swap back over to Void.
It's so hard to avoid junk spam on this point, and you saw it right there. Gatsby just farmed damage as they try and poke with the Sombra. The Sombra wants to play so slow, but you can't really play slow versus the Junkrat here, especially holding a choke versus a Junkrat damage.
That's true. Graviton Surge comes out from Dire Raven, looking to clean it up. The tire, can it go in? Can it get the value? Gets the double as Woody's finds Trolls as well. That's going to go ahead and stagger out Phantasmal for just a little bit longer as the percentages meet up.
So I get why they pick Sombra, because they just want to really like bully what they probably use their win condition, which is Magic Otter. But I think you want to play a Junk or a Reaper to do that, because they're not going to run the ball here. And Sombra doesn't really do enough pure damage to get you through these chokes. Unless you land a massive hack onto the Rhine, it really is not going to net you a lot of value, in my opinion.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is that they've been, even though they've been getting the hacks on Magic Otter, it still hasn't been valued. But oh, that's a 4-man EMP, and the cleanup comes in. Yeet! Coming in, tackling in after the double kill. Trolls gets a double of their own, and wow. Yeet using the boost there from Gatsby to just jump onto the point, quite literally, over the barrier. At the 90% mark, we see Phantasmal retake control, and they're set up for the next fight.
And now we see the Lucios come out really great here to see the aggression, because Phantasmal was able just to run through the choke with the EMP shatter and do really well there.
Ooh, Graviton Surge ends up holding Woody's and the rest of the team to the wall, but I'm Billroy, not in that immortality and gonna pay for it dearly. Sweaty does find Yeet as well with that final blow, so it's a 4v6. Void's looking to turn this point back in their favor. High Noon back out from Zadnu, but the concussion mine taking him right on out of there, and Kilroy was here, but now is gone. We're heading into Final Fight territory once again.
Oh wow! I just got distracted.
You gotta be on top of it, baby. It's control, and now you've wasted your time, and now we're back into it. Overtime ticking away as we see Trolls out on this ball. The tire does find I'm Billroy, so that's going to be dead, done, and dusted for the heels on this objective. As we see Dogmeat trying to hold, ends up releasing the sound barrier to try to keep things going, but honestly, I think it's too little, too late. There's just too much damage on the objective, not enough to keep it going. They're gonna keep dashing all around the objective as much as they possibly can. The feed is coming back in, though. I might have spoken a little too soon. Shatter comes out, ends up finding a Woody's, but the immortality field keeps him alive for now, and Beat coming in from Bagel Friend, looking to hold it all together. Overtime ticks away. Dogmeat going to be able to touch one final time, but that's it. We're headed to the night market, baby. 100-87 as Void ties up the series.
As soon as they both go Lucio, both teams, the tempo of their engages goes up, and like it's almost as if we're actually playing Rush now, and I love to see it. Like, I understand like they're afraid of flankers, like that's why a lot of people like gravitate towards Brig, but like Lucio enables your tanks to just go forward. To me, Brig is a DPS pocket, while playing Lucio is a tank pocket. And I feel like a lot of teams, especially the Zelo, want to pocket their DPS as much as possible. But, like, if you're these teams, pocket your Rhine. Rhine is in such a powerful place right now.
It's absolutely true, and now that we're heading into the night market, power is indeed what they'll need, as we see the Symmetras coming out for either side, and that little bit of speed, I'm gonna go ahead and help Phantasmal get to the point first. It looks like Void is going to try to correct as they go ahead and jump off the opposite side to keep from getting melted as they jump onto the objective. But unfortunately, I think it might be too little too late unless Gadsby can land a very sick nade in the midst of all this and get a pick on somebody. It's going to be hard for them to unleash Phantasmal at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they messed up the TP, and so that's because it's so much harder to take this point. Whoever gets there first has the advantage.
That's absolutely true. We see the concussion mine come out, trying to find Yeet. A Woody's follows up, but the damage might be already done. We see Phantasmal take control, and they're going to keep that climb going as they clean up the objective.
Oh yeah, really great point hold and good like tempered aggression, where they wait for cooldowns to be, and then they push in from Phantasmal. Now they have to retake this point. Doomfist is actually really good here because when they start walking in this courtyard, you have so many walls to just punch around.
That's absolutely true, and the rollouts are indeed hot right now. As we go ahead and see... Alright, Magic Otter. Really? Did you really have to do that? Alright, Zadnu coming in to clean up, but will get cleaned up by Gatsby after the double tire coming in, and it looks like at the 50% mark, Team Kill rings out, and that is going to be another control flip. Void taking the point and starting their climb. I mean, I feel like we've seen this song and dance quite a few times already.
Very true. I really like the switch to Kree here since they didn't take the point with Sim. Because Sim is much harder to reapproach unless you have wall, which is why you see Kilroy still on it. They're just going to TP and wall here. And
watch this. The concussion mine was already set up, as was the trap, and Trolls fell right into it. Hook, line, and sinker. The wall was up, but it didn't end up protecting them because they were outside of it. The cleanup comes in. Magic Otter able to grab a double, but Yeet does take Dire Raven with them in the end. But it looks like no matter what happens, that percentage is going to continue to climb for Void.
They did play really well. I think the Kilroy messed up their wall a little bit, and they wanted to go further into the point or dissect it like vertically instead of horizontally. But like really good concussion mine, really good like heads up play from Gatsby to just know that they're going to go for that play and have it already ready for them to mess up their engagement.
Ooh, now we see Kilroy swapping over to that Hanzo. Has been pretty deadly on the escort maps that we've seen thus far, but gonna be interesting to see how it's utilized here. It can definitely still pump out a ton of damage, but not a lot of long sightlines to utilize as on other maps. Ooh, here we go! The Space Jam! It's your chance. Do your dance, that new and trolls. They get the triple kill right there with the combo. And Bagel Friend does get that flail kill, but I mean, too little, too late. Damage is done, and that's 85% as we see Phantasmal retake the point.
They forced that immortality early, grabbed into the Space Jam, right? And then they didn't have a beat or anything to really, they didn't even have rally, didn't have anything to sustain through those ultimates. So really good win con usage from Phantasmal.
All right, Shatter. Oh, but gets blocked in the end, and yeet! Yeet cheats the Shatter in the backline. Team kill rings out as we see that MTD coming in for Phantasmal.
But now Otter switches to the ball, so we'll see if he just gets some picks here. But they still have 3 ultimates going into this fight. It's very winnable, and Kilroy's the only one with the ultimate on the side of Phantasmal.
Dragon Strike comes out, trying to create some space between them and the enemy. Graviton ends up finding 2. Dogmeat trying to get up to that barrier once again, but it's going to take just a little bit, and no way. No way! Miscommunication, Charlie Niner. We see it all the time. You see it in Overwatch League. You see it in Contenders, and it's right here. Was it you? Was it you? Was it you? Nobody knows, because nobody touched. And Phantasmal going to be walking away, and now we're at map point. If Void does not turn this around and pull the broom out, their playoffs run is going to be done.
Yeah, I mean, like, I saw Otter getting ready to touch. I saw Bagel getting ready to touch. But they did such a great job, Phantasmal, of just holding that choke and just putting enough damage where they didn't feel comfortable touching. But, you know, in this level, in the level of play, in any type of organized play, sometimes you just got to sacrifice your life to get that extended fight. Like, one of them just had it. And it feels like they weren't wanting to. It's almost as if, if you remember, there was a game a while back where I want to say it was either Shanghai or Dallas at C9 because no one wanted to die to the Diva Bomb. And I just read it stuck out in my. Do you know which game I'm talking about? I don't even know.
Probably. I mean, you've seen that all over the place. I've seen it. I saw it in Contenders in March as well. I forget what match it was, but it was a really important one. And they were on Volskaya. The entire defending team was on the high ground. And you ended up seeing the Deadeye come out from the attacking team. They're standing on the point, and nobody wanted to die to the Deadeye. So everybody just stays on the high ground and lets them cap the 1 tick that they need in order to win the series. So it's rough.
Very unfortunate.
You gotta sacrifice. You really gotta sacrifice, folks. You hate to do it, but it's got to happen one way or another. So we're going to be heading back to hybrid once again. Void has to turn this around. If they do not turn this around, they are going to be saying goodbye to their playoffs run. I mean, it's a good run nonetheless, but everybody wants to walk away with that dub. You know it. You know it. I know it. That's the way it is. I'm going to go ahead and bring in Man of Class here very shortly. Once again, if you're still out there, Man of Class.
I'm definitely still out here. Yeah, for sure. I mean, hey, map 6, potentially bringing it home. Who knows? It's possible. Phantasmal's been doing great these past 3 maps. And of course, they are now on match point. Get that 4th win. Of course, it's Hollywood. It's a hybrid map. It's very possible we could get a draw. It's a very drawable map at least. But I'm all for it. I'm all for either finishing the series or sending it to a map 7.
That is absolutely true. All right, it looks like y'all are good and ready to go. And at least looking at what I'm seeing here on the Parsec, it looks like we need to be getting out our autograph books because we're heading to Hollywood.
Mm-hmm. Oh, am I still in for this one? I forgot.
Yes, you're going to still be in for this one.
Good. Gonna actually be able to do this one with a new face. I know Jack. You know Jack for longer. The Vino is a new one for me. This is great. But
I really don't catch that much, you know. Here we are. That's why you
I wish I could say the same. No, I don't wish I could say the same. I don't know. I cast. That's what I do. Anyways, we're on Hollywood, straight through the street section. It's such a classic way to just enter the map like this. I like that observers do it because it's just such a logical way. It just flows right. It's scenes, it's cinematic, it's movies. You set the scene. Exactly what you do here on Hollywood. Of course, it's all about that first objective to start off with. This is where I really struggle to see how why teams sometimes do not do anything with the high grounds. It just baffles me when they don't.
It's such a strong position on this map, and then like if I assumed that Void would run the Brig Zen type composition here with like the Ball Sig or Ball Czar or Ball Diva, because like it's really potent with the high ground control. But they're running almost like a 6-man dive right now, except with a Kree instead of like a Reaper or a Tracer or a Sombra. They're running Echo Kree, which isn't awful. Like they still have the poke, but I don't know how it's really gonna work because the Kree is a little more fragile. I think they're going comfort picks here, while Phantasmal's just doing pocket zats new with the nano, with the bubble, use the hacks to shut down tanks and just let the Doomfist do his work.
Look, if he gets to jump from high ground, he's gonna find that success. And right now, they are jumping to the high ground themselves. Magic Otter immediately slept and antedated, and everything was great. Dogmeat always ready for those dives right now. And now we're gonna wait. When is that Zetinu gonna jump in there and get an elimination? Hasn't happened just yet. Trying to actually find where the Doomfist is. For now, it's just gonna be a corralling them off the point with that Reinhardt hammer. Maybe have the hex ready. No eliminations just yet. But just a whole lot of damage.
Yes, we just see them poking, which in theory benefits Void, but oh, now we have a hard engage.
Is it though? He's just sitting in the cafe, making sure the Ana doesn't walk back up there. I guess it's interesting. It's a strategy, making sure that no one can hold that position. And they do get I'm Bilroy through the high ground, through the staircase, and everything will just fall apart from there because it's so much healing utility missing. No immortality fields, no burst, no AoE burst at least. It's just the Ana, and she's just not going to be able to make this happen. Gilroy does a lot of damage to Magic Otter, but Magic Otter doesn't give a hoot. Able to get that elimination. That's point 8 done and dusted.
Yeah, I mean, really good, like, patient play. Like, Magic Otter gets hacked, and he just sits in his bubble and waits for it. And the longer they wait, the more time that Gatsby and Woodies have time to find value with their pick potential. I really didn't like the Kree at first, but with the shots Woodies is hitting and the damage he's putting in, it's very much worth it, because Kree's in a really good place in the game right now. And Doofus needs that initial engage to get value. You have much less raw damage on the side of Phantasmal, so a longer fight, in my opinion, like, benefits Void right now.
Void, nice shatter on the high ground here for the defense. Doesn't really get that much. They at least trade out DPS over here. Gatsby and Zetinu. It's their primal, and it doesn't really do much aside just distract them. And look how far back they're fighting right now. That payload is just rolling right now. Bagel Friend just on there. Able to throw out the sound barrier at a moment's notice, of course. They're looking for an opportunity to send in the meteor strike, to send in the EMP, and Bagel Friend will not be able to use the sound barrier now. Gets it out. Nice one. This fight's gonna get cleaned up quite nicely. I don't think there's much they can do against this. They kind of gave up as soon as Bagel Friend went down. But it's still good that they're only having to use that. Oh, they actually did use the EMP.
So that's why I was kind of confused. Like, they use EMP, they use Doomfist, they use Grab, and I think they use Nano, all in the same fight. And the only thing used from Void was a Primal and Deadeye, and they made it cold, but very fast charging ults for them.
I like this high ground hold though. You don't often see Brawl teams do this, but when they do it, you can see how much the power of that dive decreases. Try Magic Otter to jump back up there, but if they're already there waiting for you, you just get corralled off, you just get evicted from the high ground. And they have this bridge to hold as well, which is a choke in and of itself. It's not, it doesn't look like it, but it is.
They commit the beat here, and they're just now, it's like it's becoming really scrappy. The Doomfist has had a cooldown and should die here.
Yeah, Tino finally out. Woody's as well though, and Kilroy falls. DPS-less fight almost, just Gatsby flying around. Does have the duplicate ready, isn't quite using it just yet, but has it in the pocket if needed. Dire Raven looking for an opportunity to potentially get that self-destruct out But for now, it is once again Magic Otter just harassing that backline, harassing that Baptiste, and getting closer and closer to getting an elimination. But the anti-nades are so good. Doesn't save them from getting self-destructed though. Dire Raven gets the double, and that will most likely be point B, because who is going to fight without their supports? I mean, they're going to try. They're going to stall for a little bit, but this is over.
Wow, really good. Like, Magic Otter did a great job just pressuring the backline, making them continually back up. And, like, the Rhine had to be a shield bot. He couldn't swing. And then he couldn't swing, so his shield's really low when the bomb went off and just killed both supports. And then you just snowball from there.
Now we're going into this last phase. First, the indoor studio area with the alien spaceships, a few assets against the wall. Not really, it's more of a storage area, I guess. They'll be trying to make as much space as possible, and that's really what they've been doing. They've been sending Magic Otter so far forward that you feel that Phantasmal just has to fight further back. They have to wait, they have to react to it, because if they don't, their backline just falls, and then their front line has nothing to do. And Magic Otter keeps getting away with it. They don't stop this Winston. Keeping the Primal Rage out. The Graviton did happen, and I do see to get some follow-up on that. At least, yeah, they're gonna get this one, it looks like. And this time, not a lot of ultimates invested. They do actually manage to just use those 3, and they'll have some more in the bank. That's a good start for them.
I really think this is where Phantasmal Car-Up starts to work, because now they have definitive chokes to hold, while before, the dive works so well because there's so many wide open spaces. If I'm Otter, I go Rhine here, and so I can help contest these chokes. Because as Winston, it's going to be really hard for you to get through these chokes without getting blown up, especially versus the Rhine Czar.
Seen Dire Raven going almost close to another self-destruct. Zatinu already taken out the McCree on the other side. Exactly what you want from your Doomfist. Just going down the back line, and Magic Otter is out. Such a key player on that team. Really dictates where those fights take place. Missing the Winston, not a good place, and the stagger on the Diva is going to happen too.
Can't stagger too much now because of 250 mech damage. But I will say, like, really good there. They took the aggression, they slept big sleep onto Otter in the backline. And see, now he goes to the right, because now he can take these chokes and he can fight. He can fight in these chokes, use the DM to take space, and he has the Kree stun to help them to maintain this aggression.
The Meteor Strike coming out from Zatinu, going for the backline. Doesn't get the immediate elimination, but maybe the follow-up. No! Actually, Sweaty Asian able to lift through that one. It's going to be Zatinu falling first. The sound barrier is out, and no EMP to stop that one. Does get the hack off on the Magic Otter, who will fall as a result. The snapback is quite good here from Phantasmal, and they're even able to block that self-destruct. There's a great plays. Gatsby, though, almost goes for the duplicate, but gets hacked before the first shatter even comes out, and Gatsby has to fly away, almost firestruck out of the sky, and it's just a repellent. Phantasmal doing a great job in this last phase. They truly recovered.
I think Gatsby has to go like a Reaper or something more frontliney, Reaper, May, even a Doomfist of their own, just to help buy space for Otter to do anything. Because right now, Kilroy's just like waiting in chokes with the Rhine, behind Rhine's shield, just holding right click like, I'm gonna hack you, you can't have a shield, you can't play the video game. And then he just gets blown up.
You see Yeet being ready with the Shatter, EMP Shatter, beautiful combo. That should be the easy elimination onto Magic Otter at least, maybe even on more. Sweaty Asian does go down. They should just clean this fight up. 25 seconds to go. They almost finished this one too quickly. They're gonna have to stagger on the defense once again, not too quickly, but they're gonna all be there. The entirety of Void is gonna have another engage.
I still think like they just need something to break through, and now they're walking into an ant matrix, so it's really hard for them.
Really is. You see the High Noon in the background. Woody's doesn't find anything. Does find a little bit of damage though, but the Intelligent Field did help out there. Bagel Friend not close to the sound barrier, but maybe could build it up if this fight goes long enough. But in the meantime, it's just DPS galore. They're getting the eliminations. Another Graviton just locks everything up, and that will be the wipe on the point. No further will this payload roll, but they did get a decent amount, and that's sometimes all you need on a map like this.
Yeah. They did last point, they did a great job of controlling chokes, rotating ultimates, doing combos. Like the EMP Shatter, Void knew it was coming basically, but couldn't do anything about it because like what do they have to stop it? Like they didn't have beat in time in the rotations. They didn't have like an immortality field to also rotate. Like, I like the Moira when you're running the 6-man dive, and Moira has a really good ultimate. And, like, Coalescence is very, very good. But Immortality is free value just by existing, right? And especially when we get to third point, when you have all these chokes you need to get through, you kind of need that guaranteed damage mitigation to do anything. I just think they stay on the Echo too long, personally. A Hanzo, a Junkrat, a Doomfist, a Reaper, anything to, like, spam down a choke will probably help them, would have helped them more in that third point. I think Gatsby's Echo is really, really good, but it's hard to get a lot done with the short ceiling, right? With the Somber floating around, like, could easily kill you, or the Doomfist was waiting high ground for rollouts. So, like, you as Echo have playing super safe and only kind of just spamming, which really, I think, hurt them. And now we see them run the McCree.
I'm going to jump in here real quick. Sorry about that. Just going to take a little minute to say thank you to OC for following the channel. Welcome to the family. And to Chef Billy, Onzi, and King Tanners. Hi. How y'all doing? Go ahead, gentlemen.
Well, welcome to the stream indeed, as we go on the potentially final attack of this series. All they have to do is push it past 41.52 meters on point C of Hollywood. Phantasmal will have taken this series and going up to the finals, but for now, they have to get past point A first. And this May McCree, Gatsby has been really good with the walls. We saw in the first two maps, especially Hanamura. Gonna try and continue this now. Magic Otter so far just holding the corner, but this high ground, once again, it's poorly defended. It wasn't that great on the defense last time around, but this time, Void is also not really actively on there, aside from Dire Raven.
Wow.
Well, we see the go in. Kilroy gets that first headshot. Then Tinu just holds the other flank. That kind of means it's already over. No more walls. That entire strategy just falls apart as Dire Raven just takes a nap on the top of Juice. Fortunately, this will be where this point A just gets capped. Neither team really holding very strongly on that first point. Takes a little bit of time to set up, and they just take over the high ground and win.
Phantasmal is running a comp that is just that gets better over time. Once Azaria gets high energy, once Hanzo has time to get a pick, once Doomfist can get his cooldowns back, the anti-nades, everything. Like, they're playing based around these cooldowns and comfort picks that make it really hard. And since Void is mirroring the support line, they have no real advantage, because I think May in a longer fight doesn't get as much value, and so they have no ability to take aggression.
Trying to take over this high ground, not quite successful in the first attempt, but they have so many ultimates in the bank. Both teams do. This is going to be a fiesta, or they both just keep them. They've been doing that before as well. Feast or famine. Big strategy here. High Noon from the high ground doesn't get much, and Magic Otter actually almost going down Immortality Field, having to save teammates on both sides. There are finally the application matrix is gonna throw a dragon through the middle. The self-destruct actually fighting trolls. Could not get behind the Reinhardt barrier in time. Yeet, anti-nade, sleep dart, fully charged onto Magic Otter. But there's a lot of ultimates invested here. Like we said, it was going to be feast or famine, and feast is going to be the thing. Famine is what they're going for next fight. But this fight's not over. They're still getting these late staggers, these late picks, and the attacker spawn advantage is real.
Yeah, I really don't like that fight. Just got really scrappy. It's hard to say like there's any sound strategy. It was kind of like, oh, stuff's happening, let's press Q. A really good idea with the high ground, high noon, but now they're back on high ground trying to take it back.
High ground, we saw it happen last time around, but this time it's brawl versus brawl on that high ground, so a very different dynamic than versus dive. Meteor Strike coming out. Who are you gonna get? You're gonna get that McCree. Oh, almost immediately gets it. Actually, the roll was just there in time. That was maybe a good awareness from Awittis to just do that. Walk away from the team, and then just roll whenever that Meteor Strike comes in. Roll back to the team. Tino now walking away from the Reinhardt will be fine with their seismic slam. And the high ground, again, it's under control, and the entirety of Void has dropped down, so they have got it. They've got that high ground control they were looking for. All they need to do is push that card close enough so they can take this fight. Yeet just drops to the high ground. No shatter there, but the Graviton, as a result, that's going to be at least the May and the Diva locked up. It won't be enough. The high noon from Awittis might do something here, but it's going to be Magic Otter that just takes down Yeet with the Nana Boost and completely demolishes the entirety of Phantasmal.
I think Void's kind of settling in where like Dire Raven's doing a really great job of contesting high ground and forcing these engages, not letting the Hanzo be comfortable. And so when it happens, right, they're just able to like pick these engages, and then they just pour resources into Otter, right? And once they pour resources into Otter, he's allowed to make plays like that.
Yeah.
As we have a pause now.
Oh, totally. And you know what the pause means? Means that we're gonna have to worry. Is anyone gonna be disconnecting? I guess we'll find out soon. But yeah, no, it's definitely a fun experience for us to be looking at this. And you look at the ultimate situation right now, right? You think, okay, it looks pretty good for Phantasmal. I mean, Void has something coming up, but they're not quite there yet, so they could just overrun them by pure power. And you know what I like to see? Nano boosted Doomfist.
Nano Fist is like that is the strategy to me, right? Because you have two win cons with this comp, really. Grab Dragons, Nano Fist. With that being said, right, they have to like fully commit to that plan, and I feel like Zetanu has been like contested last couple fights. As I said, I think Dire Raven's done a really good job of just floating around. Woody's and Dire Raven have kept people in check, not allowing them to roam free like they have been in the rest of the map.
For sure. It kind of feels like that lead that Phantasmal's built up in the last 3 maps to just kind of win at their own game. It's sort of starting to be figured out right now. So we might get that back and forth where the one team figures out the other team, and then you have to, you know, Void will have to start, we'll have now figured out Phantasmal, and then Phantasmal has to figure out Void again. But you know, if we go to the next map, it will be map 7. And it's just the last map, period. So not much room for error on either of these sides. We see a dragon go over the high ground, actually gets quite a lot of damage out, and the immortality field is burned. Both teams losing a tank, but the main tank is usually the one that you want to keep, especially in that Reinhardt Brawl matchup. Dire Raven ridiculously low on that Diva too. Zetanu, Nano, Doomfist, it's out once again. Doesn't quite get all the eliminations, but does get enough. No problem there. Doomfist power still very high. Oh, I thought they were gonna go down. They thought they were gonna go down to Magic Otter, but that meteor strike comes in just in time. Will finally fall to Woody's with this checkpoint. It's almost inconceivable that they don't cap it. They have that full point control.
Yeah, really good job by Phantasmal to just like use the Doomfist to take that high ground gatekeeping that they were doing, and then just use the Nano Fist to clean up the fight.
That was a very good sleep dart, by the way, from Dogmeats, because Dire Raven was going to touch that point, and that could have been a fight, but that sleep dart just turns it around. Now they have 2 minutes 40 to basically win one fight, maybe half a fight even, because it could be a C9 situation, and then they'll be grand finalists. They're gonna try and make it work. Phantasmal, one more fight to make this happen, but there's a lot of ultimates against you, so it might not be the first one. Blizzard out. They do actually dodge that one. It's just space creation. Position being taken here right now from Void. They're ready. We go into this. A beautiful shatter from Magic Otter. Anti-nade does come out, but 4 kills. You're done. That fight's not going to happen. 2 ultimates used. 3 ultimates used. And that's a good story here for Phantasmal. They could just hold on until 6 and win.
Yeah, I mean, they have time to build those ultimates, but also like the fact they still have 3 ults to go forward. It's like they still have room to rotate and win these fights because it's only 2 minutes. Like it's very winnable for Void right now.
Void is definitely looking into a situation where they could win because they have the ultimates to work with, but it's so tricky. They have to be so careful because Graf Dragon is online. They have to be eaten. Something has to be eaten here. It's not happening. No, Immortality Field is out, but there's too many eliminations. Dire Raven and the Woodies already fall to it. That's a 6v4 left, and the ultimates are not online right now. This is going to be a slaughter if I've ever seen one this last fight. Phantasmal, they've done it. Map 6, 4-2, and they're going to the grand finals.
Looked shaky at the beginning when they went down 0-2, but they did a really good job of just bringing it back. And they started just playing what was comfortable with the Sombra, with the Doomfist, and the Hanzo. And they just made it work, and they did a really good job.
They really, really did. Magic Otter just showing up great this series. Definitely did. One of the highlights of that Team Void, but unfortunately, one player does not make a team, and they needed a little bit more here and there. Yeah, it was a team effort still. I don't think there's anything we can say about Phantasmal that's like, oh, it was only that player. They definitely had to work for it to do it together, and they brought it. They brought their A game.
I would agree.
Yeah, just you hate to see it. You know, the barn was coming down. You were smelling the smoke, but the only smolders this time around are Void. Sorry, Void. You put up a hell of a fight, but that's going to be it. Phantasmal will actually be moving on to the Indigo Bracket Finals, where they'll be facing off against Firefight, who has been the #1 seed on their side of the bracket this time around. So actually, this is one of the rare first seed, second seeds in the tournament right now that we're going to be seeing. So we're going to go ahead and allow everybody their chance to weigh in on player of the match. For those of you at home, be sure to be blowing up that chat and letting us know who you believe deserves player of the match. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with the gentlemen that were in this match, starting off with Navino. Who would you give your player of the match to tonight?
I personally think it has to go Zatino. The Doomfist just opened up a lot of avenues, and he played really well in almost every hero he played, but his Doomfist, to me, was the standout. As soon as they started just committing to that Doomfist and just using the displacement, they really started to turn the series around.
All right, how about you, Mana Class?
Look, I'm a terrible person. I already forgot half the players on both teams. I'm trying to figure it out right now. It's one of those, right, where you're just like you're just trying to do it, but it's not terrible. But who was the Ana? No, I'm Billroy, the other support from Phantasmal.
Dog meat.
Dog meat.
Dog meat.
Yep.
It was something
That's
with
mine
meat
too.
or meat like dog. That would be my MVP. Because honestly, sleep dart, nano boosts, anti nades, like they were all landing, and that sets up so many of those plays. It disabled a lot of players. It allowed the Doomfist to get so much value a lot of the time, and it just kept the backline alive and the front line and everything. It was just, everything came together for that.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Billy?
I mean, he took my pick. I mean, I'm giving it to Dog Meat. I mean, just like what he said, the value that Dog Meat got, and especially they're being put on display again. When you saw them get the sleep onto Dire Raven and the Diva, trying to use the boosters to get on the point to contest the point, the sleep and the anti that went into that, you also nailed it. But they got the kills, and it was just such a fantastically singular performance from a healer that truly knows their craft. Yeah, Dog Meat definitely gets my vote there.
Allow everybody. Yeah. For some reason, I'm getting a lot of echo of audio coming in from somewhere. Not exactly for certain where, but nevertheless, I think that I have got to give some love to Zatnu as well. It has been nutty watching them play, watching them continue to just lock out everything on this objective and be able to pop off with the McCree, the Doomfist. Like, no matter what happened, it just seemed to be working out. Honorable mention to Yeet as well. Those shatters, when they hit, they hit. The ground was cracked, everybody was laying down, and the cleanup right after that from the rest of Phantasmal was on it, and they're going to need that going into the finals here. We've still got 2 more weeks of tournament, folks, so if you have missed out on the action thus far, first off, what are you doing? What are you doing? You really should have been watching this the last couple of weeks, but you can actually catch all our replays of things that went on over at the Overwatch Tranquility YouTube channel, youtube.com/OWTranquility. And then the next event that we'll be seeing is on Monday for the Iris podcast. As you know, you won't be earning points here, but if you go over to the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/OWTranquility, for every 10 minutes you watch, you get a point. That offline NPC, our little bot, is taking in. Everybody taking in all those 10-minute buffs that you're getting, gives you a little vote, and then at the end of the tournament, once everybody's said and done and the grand finalists are crowned, you'll be able to get your opportunity at one of 3 $100 Amazon gift cards. So be sure to be heading on over there, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday over at twitch.tv/OWTranquility. So thank you to everyone that has been here tonight. Thank you so much to Void and Phantasmal for letting us be able to cast this. Thank you so much to Navino, Manaclass, and Billy for coming in and casting with me. It always is more fun when it's not just me. So that's always great. And thank you so much to MI Blizzard for coming in and doing the observation tonight, able to fill in at the last minute. Greatly appreciate you being able to come in. Let's see. Lastly, Navino, Delphi, and Blizzard, thank you so much for your follows and welcome to the family. Hi, OC. Want to make sure to say hello to you. And gentlemen, go ahead and shout out your. I know we got your socials on screen right now, but starting with Navino, the way we did player of the match, shout out where we can find you all so that they can find you other than on this podunk stream that streams every once in a while.
Well, I have a Twitch. It's twitch.tv/Mr. Navino. You'll sometimes see me stream POV of koala scrims or anything, or stuff I do with just Marsupial in general, which is the org I run. And if you're ever interested, we have teams in a lot of tournaments, and you will find a Discord invite in Tranquility or somewhere else. So come hang out.
All right, Manaclass, where can we find you?
Dope. Look, I'm around. I'm on the Twitters. I have an Instagram, which I don't please don't find my Instagram. I have a Twitch, which I never stream on. No, like honestly, the Twitter is kind of the only thing that I really actively use. So yeah, Man of Class OW on Twitter. But yeah, honestly, the one thing I always want to shout out is hashtag support tier 2.
Hells yeah,
2021.
Woo, baby.
Doing it. It's kind of my job now to make sure there's content. So let's provide it and come watch. No, honestly, it's a really good show right now. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, you and me both. Actually, we're getting ready to, at least in Reflash, we're getting ready to prepare for our next round of OD after we just saw...
Trials coming up,
yep,
too.
Trials getting ready to come up right after that. We already know the folks that are coming back down from Contenders, seeing if they can hold on to that spot and move their way back up. A little detour. See if it's a little detour for them, or if... Are they washed up? Are they going back to Open Division where they got to battle it up against
those teams, man? Ooh, there's a few of those teams. Like, how did they drop? But then again, EU was such a powerhouse.
Yep.
It was insane. Some was gonna drop, and it was almost British Hurricane. It was this close. It was this close to British Hurricane dropping the Trials. Imagine that.
Yeah, that was nuts. And for those of you that don't follow any of that, be sure to be following Reflash on Twitter as well. You'll get all the updates of that. But British Hurricane has been one of those long-standing teams. If you don't know, is the academy team of the London Spitfire. And they have literally been locking down first place in Contenders for the past year. This is their first time getting sent to the lower bracket in quite some time. So you want to be making sure that you watch that. Billy, my buddy, where can we find you other than here?
I stream regularly now on my Twitch, which is Chef Billy 77. You can find me on Twitter at Billy Duh Moose. You'll find me casting along side yourself and Bullskunk in Open Division. Hopefully Trials again. Making a big push for attendees soon, hopefully.
Fingers crossed, baby.
We are putting the work in. Let me tell you what, casters, you said this was a practice cast for us, and doing stuff like this really helps us keep our blades sharp. And I wanted to thank you for putting the invite out there, because it's prom night. But I also, need to keep pushing forward with this. So you'll find me on my Twitch. Either I'm playing Overwatch as a really crappy DPS. I'm getting better. That
takes practice.
That's what they all say. So that's what they all say, Billy. Look, I know you still pick Widow and say I'm gonna hit some shots and then I'll switch and then don't switch. I know you do it.
No, I also do cooking on my stream on my Twitch channel. So. Come check me out. I'm probably really friendly. I think I'm friendly. Most of the time.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yeah. Well, comp gets to us all. And of course, you can find me, Captain Jack, at CAPT_Jack87 on Twitter. You can find me, obviously, right here. If you hit that heart, punch that bell so you get notified every time we're online. I'm trying to get back in the schedule, so hopefully we get back to the Sora Redacted Saturdays tomorrow night, actually. Scratch that. No, we're not, because I'm recording the end of season beat drops tomorrow night, so that's not gonna happen. So we'll eventually get back on track, probably when the season's over, because that'd be the breaks. But you can catch me in Open Division once again, hopefully in Contenders Trials as well, and we always over on the Tranquility channel. We'll be doing some great stuff over there as well. So thank you everyone so much for joining us tonight. We're actually going to go send some love to the wonderful, the amazing Caden Vera of Maelstrom and Dallas Fuel Pugs fame. We absolutely love her, so please feel free to join us as we head on over. Have a good night. Be good people, and we'll see you next time.